In a world where martial arts is everything, where the strong crush the weak and make all the rules, Su Hong was just an average teen carrying a pain that would never fade. He got a taste of this world's cruelty way too early. A monster disaster ripped his parents away, leaving him all alone with a burning thirst for revenge and just a tiny spark of martial arts talent. Su Hong turned his grief into fuel, throwing himself into hellish training. He believed that only a strong enough fist could bring back justice, but talent couldn't fill an empty stomach, and hard work couldn't buy stupidly expensive training resources. He watched helplessly as those rich kids with solid backing effortlessly surpassed him, even though they had zero talent. Pushed to the brink, Su Hong bet everything on the only path that could change his fate, the underground death arena. The result was a total disaster. He was beaten to a pulp, his bones shattered to pieces. But right at the moment his life flickered like a candle in the wind, a cold voice echoed in his head. Do you want to make a trade? Ding! The ultimate system has awakened. Binding with the host. Death didn't come. Instead, an unimaginable power surged into his body. Not only did it help him level up at a crazy speed, the system also brought a one-of-a-kind gift, 100% compatibility with all lightning, fire, ice, and wood attributes. An ability that was supposed to be impossible in martial arts history. From the ashes of despair, a legend began to rise. Su Hong's path was no longer a helpless struggle, but a journey of revenge and conquering the absolute peak of martial arts. Bam! In the middle of the dojo, a powerful kick was thrown, creating an earth-shattering sound. Right after, a crazy strong close-range punch smashed straight into its target. The whole dojo came into view. Two shirtless guys were sparring intensely. Su Hong, the black-haired guy, landed a decisive blow on his opponent. His sparring partners stumbled back, clutching his chest and wincing. Ouch! Damn, that hurts like hell. He stared at Su Hong in total shock. Su Hong, your Vajra fist leveled up again. Don't tell me you've already hit the micro stage. Su Hong calmly replied, I just broke through 2 days ago. Regarding martial arts levels, the micro stage is one of the martial realms in this world. Any martial arts skill is divided into 5 levels. A chart appeared, illustrating the 5 levels of martial arts: novice, micro, proficient, great mastery, and perfection. His friend excitedly gave him a thumbs up. That's freaking insane. If we're just talking about the Vajra fist, no one in this whole class can beat you. But Su Hong wasn't done yet. He turned around, his eyes full of determination. Rested enough? Let's keep going. Hearing that, his friend panicked and waved his hands. You're a total training freak. I'm not sparring with you anymore. I'm going home to eat. Saying that, he turned and left, leaving Su Hong standing alone, deep in thought. On his way out, he happily waved goodbye. See ya, Mr. Lee. An older teacher with glasses gently reminded him, put your clothes on properly before you leave. Mr. Lee then walked over to Su Hong, looking serious. Su Hong, finally found you. Are you not planning to take the martial arts exam? He got straight to the point. You still haven't paid the $30,000 registration fee. The deadline is next Monday. The confidence on Su Hong's face instantly vanished. He asked nervously, Sir, could you give me a few more days? Mr. Lee replied sympathetically, I know your family's situation is tough, but my hands are tied. Rules are rules. After Mr. Lee left, Su Hong stood all alone in the massive, empty dojo. The moonlight shined down, highlighting his loneliness and the heavy burden on his shoulders. That $30,000 registration fee kept echoing in his head. Su Hong clenched his fists, his breathing getting heavy from total helplessness. Painful memories came rushing back. When I was 3, my parents died in a monster disaster. An image of a little boy crying his eyes out amidst the rubble appeared. Since then, I've lived with my uncle and aunt. Inside a picture frame was a happy family. Su Hong stood next to his aunt, uncle, and 2 cousins. Once they discovered my martial arts talent, they spared no effort to support my training. The reason for that support was crystal clear. After all, in this era overrun by monsters, being a martial artist is a crazy high-paying job. But that exact same motivation was tearing him apart right now. I train in martial arts so we can all have a better life. But now, I'm just making things harder for them. That night, he returned to his rundown apartment building. Standing in front of the door, he suddenly heard his aunt and uncle talking anxiously inside. The rent's due soon, right? How much are we short? Listen, we can delay the rent. Let's pay Little Hong's registration fee first. His aunt's voice rang out, full of absolute trust. Little Hong is so talented, he's definitely going to make it big. We can't hold him back. The conversation that followed made his heart clench. His uncle suggested, then I'll stop taking my meds too. It's incurable anyway, and we'll save a ton of money. His aunt instantly objected. No way in hell. I'll pick up another job. You just stay home and rest. Don't worry about a thing. Hearing those sacrifices, Su Hong's heart shattered. He stood frozen outside the door, his face hidden in the shadows, his eyes reflecting a deep agony. Suddenly, he slapped his own cheek, trying to snap himself out of the despair. Regaining his composure, he walked in with a forced smile. Uncle, Auntie, I'm home. His aunt asked warmly, why are you training so late every day? You must be exhausted. He tried to help her with the chores. Auntie, let me do that. But both of them firmly refused. You think I can't handle this little chore? Hurry up and go rest in your room, or you won't have any energy to train tomorrow. Listen to your aunt. Go get some rest, kiddo. Su-hong had no choice but to quietly head to his room. Lying on his bed in the dark, he stared at the ceiling and secretly made up his mind. Uncle, Auntie, you two have sacrificed way too much for me. From now on, I'm gonna solve my own problems. A plan started forming in his head. His eyes grew sharp as he made his decision. For a martial artist to make tens of thousands in just a few days, there's only one place. The next day, the scene shifted to a modern building, towering among lush green trees. Inside, the building was a chaotic underground arena. The host's voice echoed everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the title defense challenge of the Martial Apprentice Arena, where there is no life or death, only victory or defeat. On the ring, a beautiful female MC introduced the fighter next to her. Our defending champion today is none other than Mr. Bull Demon King right here. That fighter was Su-hong, wearing a bullhead mask. Hidden behind the mask, Su-hong's eyes glinted with resolve as the female MC announced the rules. Win 4 consecutive matches and take home a massive prize of 60,000 bucks. Lose even one match, and you get absolutely nothing. Keep your eyes wide open, everyone. Down in the stands, murmurs broke out. Who the hell is this guy? Never seen him before. Must be a rookie, right? A total noob daring to challenge the title defense match right off the bat? Dude's basically asking for a death wish. The female MC turned and whispered to Su-hong, "Hey kid, show some hype. Heat up the crowd a bit." Su-hong asked blankly, "Huh, what am I supposed to do?" The MC looked impatient. "Provoke them. Talk some trash." Rookies are such a pain." Su-hong seemed to finally get it. Oh, got it." Instantly, he let out a deafening roar. "Rarge! Below the martial artist realm, I am invincible. Come up here, you weaklings." This sudden outburst left the MC totally stunned. The crowd's reaction was intensely explosive. Some were shocked. "Holy crap, is he that arrogant?" Others were hyped. "Badass." But there were also those who sneered. "He won't even know how he died." The crowd started screaming frantically. "Kill him! Tear the Bull Demon King to pieces." The female MC seized the moment and declared loudly, "All right then, let the match begin." Standing in the middle of the ring, Su-hong thought to himself, "No wonder it's an underground arena. The bloodlust is terrifying. But this is the only way I can make the tuition fee fast. Hopefully, my Vajra fist can help me win a few more rounds." An opponent wearing a rat mask leaped onto the ring, growling, "What an arrogant little brat. Let me play with you." Su-hong calmly observed, analyzing in his head. His aura is intense, but his footwork is sloppy. Seems easy enough to deal with. The opponent didn't give him much time to think. He roared, "What the hell are you spacing out for?" Then he lunged forward, throwing a punch. Su-hong reacted with lightning speed, raising his hand to launch a basic palm strike. He easily grabbed the opponent's jaw, making him let out a cry of agony. Ard. With one clean move, Su-hong slammed his opponent down, tossing him across the ring. The guy lay completely out cold on the mat, while Su-hong stood tall, raising his fist high in victory. The female MC screamed into the mic, "Next up, the Bull Demon King takes win number 1. The entire stadium exploded into deafening cheers. Whoa, that's insane. A new, way more jacked opponent stepped into the ring, radiating cockiness. "You just got lucky the first round, but your luck runs out right here." Su-hong taunted the guy with a bring-it-on-hand gesture, sizing him up in his head. "Looking at his build, this dude's actually pretty stacked. He's the perfect punching bag to test out my Vajra fist." The new challenger let out a massive roar. "I'm coming for you." He lunged forward on the attack. Bam! The two fists smashed together, echoing with a massive crack. The big guy was totally stunned by Su-hong's raw strength, his punching power. It's freaking terrifying. Meanwhile, Su-hong coldly analyzed the strike. "His punch is way weaker than mine." Seizing the split second, the guy froze in shock. Su-hong delivered a brutal hook right to his face. The moment the punch connected, Su-hong spotted a huge opening. The guy totally lost his balance, leaving his entire midsection wide open. Without a second thought, Su-hong spun around and slammed a devastating kick straight into the dude's ribs. The kick was so violently powerful it sent the heavy guy flying straight across the ring. The crowd lost their minds all over again. "Holy crap, he's so strong." Opponent number 2 is down for the count. The tiny but crazy energetic female MC screamed her lungs out. Next up, the Bull Demon King scores win number 2. The ring fell silent for a brief moment, waiting for the next poor soul to step up, while the crowd's crazy cheering echoed endlessly. High above in a massive VIP suite, a sharp-dressed guy in a slick suit, clearly the big boss of the arena, was watching the fight dead on. He muttered to himself, "The kid isn't even a quasi-martial artist yet, but his raw power totally outclasses your average martial apprentice. This kid's got some serious freaking talent." Right after Su-hong clutched his 3rd win, the giant screen flashed the words, "Bull Demon King, 3-win streak." The boss gave a sly smirk and muttered, "He'd get trashed by the real heavy hitters, but he's more than enough to stomp on the weaklings." The absolutely perfect pawn for our rigged matches. A young guy wearing a slick white fox mask stepped out of the shadows and bowed respectfully. "Master, I'll head down there and recruit him right now." The boss turned his back, laying down the law. "Listen carefully. Do not let it slip that you've already broken through to become a true martial artist." Meanwhile, down in the grimy locker room, Su Hong finally ripped off his mask. He replayed those brutal wins in his head, with my Vajra fist hitting the micro-mastery level. Trashing these basic martial apprentices is a total joke. His eyes burned with an insane, ironclad focus, tightly clenching his taped-up fists. Just one more win. Just one more, and that sweet 60,000 yuan prize money is all mine. But the second the final boss of the night stepped into the ring, Su Hong's jaw practically hit the floor. Wait, White Fox? He muttered in pure shock. Is this guy seriously joining the title defense match? The crowd instantly recognized the new fighter, and the whole place started buzzing. Yo, isn't that guy a quasi-martial artist? A quasi-martial artist beating up on an apprentice? That's totally rigged. Man, cold sweat started dripping down Su Hong's forehead. He knew damn well this fight was completely stacked against him. A quasi-martial artist? Man, this is gonna be absolute hell. But I can't back down. I refuse to lose. Up in the ring, White Fox flashed a super arrogant smirk behind his mask. He casually strolled forward, his voice dripping with condescension. Hey, don't pee your pants, kid. I'll make sure to go easy on you. The female MC thrust her mic into the air, hyping up the drama. The ultimate title defense match starts right freaking now. The two fighters shot at each other like absolute rockets. Su Hong knew perfectly well just how massive the power gap was. My level is way below his. I gotta go 100% from the very first strike. He unleashed a vicious Vajra fist, packing absolutely every ounce of his power into it, but White Fox blocked the strike like it was literally nothing. Su Hong froze in pure shock the second he felt the insane force pushing back from the guy's arm. No way. This kind of brute force. He's no quasi-martial artist. Su Hong's eyes blew wide open in sheer terror as the sick reality hit him. He's a true martial artist. That bastard totally masked his vital energy. White Fox gave a twisted little smirk. He took a deep breath and then explosively unleashed an insane barrage of lightning-fast strikes. Thunderburst fist. Su Hong got absolutely blasted away, dark red blood instantly spewing from his mouth. His head was spinning. What the hell? This power is totally monstrous. So this is what a real martial artist feels like? The crowd in the stands completely lost it in pure panic. Holy crap, that's the triple impact of the Thunderburst fist. The Bull Demon King is straight up dead meat. White Fox didn't give Su Hong a single second to breathe, relentlessly battering him while talking trash. What's wrong? Loser. All you can do is block. Hit me back. Show me what you freaking got. Pinned against the ropes, Su Hong could do nothing but throw his arms up, desperately trying to shield himself from the brutal, hurricane-like beatdown. He knew for a fact that if he kept taking hits like this, he was completely screwed. White Fox just kept swinging. Absolute non-stop savagery. Su Hong desperately scanned for any kind of opening. Damn it, I have to find a split second to counter. For a tiny fraction of a second, he finally spotted a gap, but before he could even twitch, a massive fist was already smashed right into his face. White Fox followed up with an earth-shattering kick, sending Su Hong crashing completely flat onto the cold hard mat. Sprawled out on the floor, blood poured uncontrollably from his nose and mouth. Su Hong could feel his brain short-circuiting, his vision going completely black. Damn it, no, I'm passing out. White Fox casually strolled over, planting his boot right onto Su Hong's mask, his voice dripping with absolute disgust. Listen up, tough guy. You're not getting a single red cent of that prize money. He leaned in close, dropping a twisted offer. But my boss wants to invite you to join our crew. From here on out, you're gonna throw matches for us. Say yes, and we'll even be nice enough to hand over tonight's prize money. Su Hong completely ground his teeth together, his voice a furious, choked growl. I'd rather die than be your freaking lapdog. White Fox stood up straight, his eyes turning dead cold. You better think real hard, kid. A piece of trash like you doesn't have the right to say no to us. Su Hong glared right back up at him, his eyes burning with pure, unadulterated rage. You rig fights and step on people, and you still have the guts to call yourselves real martial artists. White Fox totally snapped, completely out of patience. So we're done talking then, huh? He lunged forward out of nowhere, aiming a lethally vicious strike straight for him. Then I'm gonna permanently cripple your ass. You can be a martial artist in your freaking dreams. In that terrifying split second between life and death, an explosive, burning desire to become a true martial artist completely hijacked Su Hong's brain. Just as White Fox's lethal kick was about to make contact, the guy suddenly froze dead in his tracks, absolutely stunned. Fueled by sheer, freakish willpower, Su Hong dragged his broken body up off the mat. An insanely intense, fiery aura suddenly erupted from his entire body. He mumbled to himself, almost delirious. I can't just die here. I refuse to stay down. White Fox stared, literally unable to believe his own eyes. What the hell? He took a full-power Thunderburst fist right to the face. How is he even standing? Inside Su Hong's spinning, chaotic mind, the desperate faces of his family flashed before his eyes. His sacred promise echoed loudly in his head. I promise them. I'm going to become a real martial artist. I'm going to give them the awesome life they deserve. I will never let my aunt and uncle's sacrifices be for nothing. But a dark doubt crept in. But do I really have to throw away my pride as a fighter just to survive? A totally messed up, horrifying vision flashed in his mind, him, utterly paralyzed, rotting away in a wheelchair. He screamed out in pure, agonizing desperation. No, no freaking way. I will never accept a garbage future like that. Suddenly, this super weird, robotic voice echoed directly inside his skull, and a crazy glowing virtual interface popped right up in his face. Then, for the sake of your family, for your ultimate ideals, what are you willing to sacrifice? Pushed to his absolute breaking point, Su-hong let out a savage, guttural roar, answering the voice echoing in his brain. His entire body violently erupted in a blinding, blood-red aura, his eyes glowing with a terrifying, demonic light. The system interface flashed wildly in front of him again. Confirm your choice. What ultimate price are you willing to pay? Without a single ounce of hesitation, he screamed out with every last drop of his soul. Everything. Crack. Right beneath his feet, the fabric of space literally began to shatter like glass. In a blinding flash, the entire underground arena just vanished. Su-hong stood there, totally dumbfounded, stuck inside some seriously creepy, ancient-looking giant temple. He frantically looked around, spotting weird, twisted shadows crawling all over the cold stone floor. What the hell? Where am I? Suddenly, from the far end of the massive hall, a blinding surge of golden light erupted, morphing into this insanely gigantic, godlike entity. Holy crap, it's like a literal god. Su-hong stared up in pure, jaw-dropping awe, stuttering out, "Wahoo, are you?" The colossal being didn't even bother answering. Instead, a booming, majestic voice violently shook the room. "I shall grant you this one final chance." And just like that, the entity shattered into a billion glowing particles. The golden specks of light aggressively swirled like a tornado right around Su-hong's body. The glowing lights rapidly mashed together right in front of his face, materializing into a floating, see-through holographic screen, looking like some insane sci-fi tech. Su-hong's eyes practically bugged out of his head as he shouted, "Yo, what the hell is this thing?" He totally blanked out as he read the neon glowing status board. Name, Su-hong, Vitality, 85, Spirit, 23, Physique, Mortal Body, 3%, Current Quest, The Arena's Bloody Path. Skills, Vajra Fist, Micro Mastery, 7%, Floating Light Palm, Proficient, 35%, Void Step, Proficient, 56%, Martial Dao Points, 0. This crazy thing is literally displaying my real-life stats. Wait, is it like a giant freaking touch screen? Su-hong was super skeptical but seriously hyped. He nervously reached his finger out and tapped the quest tab that had a little blinking red notification dot. Instantly, a massive pop-up window expanded. Random quest triggered. The Arena's Bloody Path. Description: the road to ultimate power is paved with absolute hell. Train your martial skills inside this realm, and then totally obliterate White Fox, who is currently waiting for you on the outside. Martial arts training objective: upgrade Diamond Fist to Grandmaster level. Upgrade Floating Light Palm and Void Step to Micro level. Reward: this is a beginner tutorial, so there are 0 rewards. Current progress: Diamond Fist at Micro level, 7%. Floating Light Palm at Proficient, 35%. Void Step at Proficient, 56%. Note, this quest may trigger the beginner tutorial. Beginner tutorial? Just as Su-hong was wondering what that meant, a clone of himself, made entirely of data and light, suddenly materialized. The clone didn't say a single word and instantly lunged at him to attack. Su-hong hurriedly dodged. He was absolutely blown away. Wait, is this a clone of me? And it's using the Diamond Fist, too. Holy crap, its Diamond Fist is way cleaner than mine. It's literally textbook perfect. A thought flashed through his mind. Su-hong completely lost his fear, getting totally hyped to have such a flawless mirror image right in front of him. Like hell, I'm gonna miss out on this free lesson. He immediately dashed in to spar with the clone. Every single move the clone made was flawless, completely exposing all of Su-hong's own blind spots. Wait, is it actually demonstrating the moves for me? Smack. Caught up in watching, Su-hong took a brutal punch straight to the chest. Oh, crap. He staggered backward, coughing violently. But right after, a small notification panel popped up in front of his eyes, showing that his Diamond Fist progress had gone up 10%. I swear it was just at 7% a second ago. I'm leveling up this fast. Realizing the massive payoff, Su-hong clenched his fists, his fighting spirit totally flaring up again. This thing can actually help me speed run my martial arts skills. He stopped playing defense and aggressively charged back into the fight. The two of them clashed intensely. The progress bar for Diamond Fist kept shooting up, from 15% to 23%. When both of them busted out the Void Step, the footwork's progress bar also spiked from 59% straight up to 70%. Notification panels kept spamming his vision, his martial arts stats skyrocketing at an insane speed. Before long, Void Step and Diamond Fist both hit 97%, 98%, boom. During a palm strike clash, the progress bar for Floating Light Palm maxed out at 100%. A burst of light enveloped Su-hong. Martial arts breakthrough. Floating Light Palm has reached micro level. Su-hong dashed around like a blur, the system screen chiming in, Void Step proficiency at 100%, breakthrough to micro level. He threw another explosive punch, the kinetic force blasting outward. Diamond Fist, micro level at 100%, breakthrough to Grandmaster. Dropping out of the training space, Su Hong stood in the middle of the dark, gloomy hall, completely drenched in sweat and gasping for air. Huh? What the? He stared at the quest notification popping up in front of him. Congratulations! You have completed the Arena Path quest. Rewards have been distributed. Do you wish to return to reality? He softly replied, Thanks, man. A flash of light erupted. Su Hong, back in his Bull Demon King persona, returned to the arena, facing White Fox, and decisively confirmed yes. White Fox lunged forward with a furious, hyper-aggressive attack. Quit playing your stupid mind games, eat this. But Su Hong effortlessly dodged the strike with slick movement. White Fox roared, Thunder Fist, unleashing a relentless barrage of lightning-fast punches that completely boxed Su Hong in. Suddenly, Su Hong teleported right behind his opponent. With a dead calm expression, he said coldly, way too slow. Before White Fox could even react, Su Hong's fist smashed forward with terrifying speed. Crack! A thunderous punch shattered White Fox's mask right there on the ring. Shards went flying everywhere. Su Hong pulled his fist back, his face completely stoic, ignoring the dazed, defeated loser. Thud. The entire arena went dead silent as White Fox's body collapsed onto the canvas right in front of the crowd. Su Hong stood tall, his glowing red eyes staring down at his enemy in the eerie quiet of the stadium. He turned to the female MC, who was completely frozen in shock. I just won my 4th match. When are you gonna hand over my prize money? She stammered, totally flabbergasted. Huh? Oh, right away. Up in the VIP box, the arena boss gripped his wine glass so hard his knuckles turned white. He stared in absolute horror at the notification. Bull Demon King claims the 60,000 buck reward. Diamond Fist reached the Grandmaster tier. How the hell can a mere martial disciple train to that level? Even most pro fighters can't pull that off. His face twisted into a sinister scowl as he barked orders at his goons. Tail him. Dig up that little punk's real identity, no matter what. The lackeys bowed in total submission. Understood, boss. Later that night, having taken off his mask, Su Hong was quietly walking down a deserted alley, looking completely drained from the fight. He suddenly stopped dead in his tracks. His eyes turned sharp and cold as he glanced over his shoulder, sensing somebody tailing him. A dark shadow zipped past. Su Hong instantly vanished into the deep shadows of the old street block. The two goons scrambled forward in a panic. Where the hell did he go? The boss gave us strict orders. We have to expose this guy's identity at all costs. Right above their heads, Su Hong was propped up between two walls, sporting a faint, cocky smirk. Still trying to tail me, huh? Morons. He quickly scaled his way up to the rooftop, gazing out at the bright full moon hanging in the silent night sky. An hour later, at Su Hong's place, lights spilled from the small apartment in the rundown, sketchy housing complex. Staring at the massive pile of cash stacked on the table, his uncle freaked out. His aunt was trembling in pure shock too. Little Hong, did you go rob a bank? Where on earth did all this money come from? Su Hong casually explained as the family sat around the dining table. Didn't I tell you guys I was working as a sparring partner at the dojo? The boss saw I had talent, so he decided to sponsor my training. His aunt was still super suspicious. But didn't you say before that the dojo was incredibly cheap? He grabbed both of their hands, his eyes looking totally sincere. Uncle, auntie, do you guys really not trust me? His uncle burst into a happy, relieved laugh. His aunt choked up, crying tears of joy. You're right, our little Hong would never lie to us. Our boy has really made it big. Late at night, Su Hong quietly hopped out the window and climbed up to the roof to grab some personal space. Sitting under the full moon, he let out a huge, relieved smile. Martial arts exam fees, covered. Rent, covered. Auntie's medical bills are temporarily sorted out too. Ha ha ha. He opened the system interface to check it again. Turning this whole mess around was all thanks to this crazy system. Name Su Hong. Talent unrivaled through the ages. Vitality 85+. Spirit 23+. Constitution, mortal physique at 3%. Martial arts stats, Diamond Fist Grandmaster at 5%. Floating Light Palm, micro level at 8%. Void Step, micro level at 9%. Martial points, plus 67. But besides his martial arts levels, the other base stats hadn't changed at all. Su Hong stared hard at the status screen. He was super confused about the new stat. Martial points? What the heck is this? And what does it even do? Instantly, an explanation panel popped up. Defeating a higher level opponent grants 67 martial points. Martial points can be used to upgrade vitality and martial arts skills. Please use them wisely. Su Hong decided to act on it immediately. Alright, let's test this bad boy out right now. He started spam clicking the plus sign to add points. The notification vitality plus 0.1 popped up like crazy, rapidly stacking until the panel displayed vitality 90+. Su Hong's eyes rolled back, his pupils shrinking as he felt a massive wave of scorching heat boiling up inside his body. Thump, thump, thump. A blazing, fierce aura wrapped around him like an erupting bonfire in the dead of night. Phew. He let out a long breath to steady his mind. silently evaluating himself. My vitality hit 90. I've officially reached the apprentice fighter level. Seeing he still had leftover points, he didn't hesitate to keep tapping, dumping every single remaining martial point straight into his vitality. Ding, ding, ding. Su Hong lifted his shirt to check out his shredded abs. The old bruises and injuries from the arena fight had completely vanished. Not only had his physical strength gotten a massive buff, but even his bodily wounds were practically fully healed. Man, it feels like I've got infinite power pumping through my veins right now. I need to find a spot to test out my current strength. In the dead of night, he dashed swiftly across the rooftops of the old neighborhood. Swoosh, swoosh. His eyes locked onto his chosen target. How about the school's training ground? They've got a combat power testing machine over there. The scene shifted to Star City's #1 high school, at the outdoor training ground. Su Hong touched down silently in the middle of the yard. Thud. He walked right up to a massive armored contraption, a level 1 combat power tester. Su Hong dropped into a fighting stance, the fierce red aura flaring up wildly once again. He told himself, for this punch, I'm only going to use 70% of my power. Whoosh, whoosh. His gaze turned ice cold, one eye flashing with an intimidating blazing red light. Swish. He pivoted and unleashed a devastatingly heavy punch, slamming it straight into the machine's red bullseye. Boom! As the dust settled, Su Hong was sweating bullets, his face looking totally dumbfounded. Oh. He stared at the insanely expensive combat tester, which now had a massive, smoking hole punched right through it. He panicked. Oh, I am so screwed. The quality of this thing is absolute garbage. They aren't going to make me pay for this, are they? Sizzle, sizzle. Suddenly, a furious roar shattered the night, scaring the living crap out of Su Hong. Shut the hell up. It's the middle of the night. What the absolute crap are you doing out there? He immediately bolted, running for his life. I gotta get the hell out of here. The school principal ran outside, staring at the wrecked equipment in pure agony. Which little bastard sneaked into the school's training ground and completely trashed the power tester like this? In this entire school, only those two punks, Chen Shan and Li Tu, are even capable of doing something like this. The principal gritted his teeth, his face turning beet red with absolute rage. Just wait until school starts again. I'm gonna teach you two a lesson you won't forget. The next morning, at the Star City First High School arena, the whole student body gathered in a loud, buzzing crowd. A male student stared at the huge bump on Chen Shan's head and asked curiously, how the hell did Chen Shan get beaten to a pulp like that? Su Hong stood in the back, just quietly watching. The friend next to him whispered to Su Hong, I heard Chen Shan smash the testing machine at the martial arts arena last night and was too stubborn to admit it, so the principal beat the crap out of him. Su Hong smirked slyly. So he took the fall for me. Up on the podium, the principal yelled, everyone, quiet down. He introduced the man next to him. Today, I've invited an old comrade of mine, a level 3 martial artist, Chen Tian, to teach you all a C-rank martial art, the Thunder Rush Punch. Study hard. The whole hall erupted in excited chatter. This is the first time I've ever seen a level 3 martial artist. Outside dojos charge hundreds of thousands just to teach C-rank martial arts. Su Hong recalled the fight from the other day and realized if it really was the Thunder Rush Punch, then that's the exact same move Bok Ho used. It's a 3-in-1 burst punching technique, seriously overpowered. He looked at the martial arts ranking board and made up his mind. Learning a C-rank skill outside costs at least a few $100,000 just to sign up. I absolutely have to grab this chance. Chen Tian stepped out to the center of the stage and stated firmly, cut the chatter, kids. I'm going to demonstrate this 10 times from start to finish. How much you learn is entirely up to you. He threw a powerful punch that let out a sharp crack. The Thunder Rush Punch was incredibly fierce and dominant. At the beginner level, every punch creates a boom like thunder. He explained the levels as he struck. At the proficient level, it creates 3 resonances. At the master level, 5. And at the grandmaster level, 7 times. A blazing golden aura surrounded Chen Tian as he threw the final strike. That is my current realm. After pulling back his stance, he sternly reminded them. At the perfect level, it can create 9 resonances. But don't get ahead of yourselves. If you kids can even reach the beginner level today, that's already damn good. Then he shouted, all right, I'm starting the second demonstration. Try to keep up. The crowd of students cheered in unison. A few hours later, the whole arena was dead tired. Someone whined, I can't get a single thing. I'm so burnt out. Did anyone figure out the trick to this? Su Hong's best friend, dripping in sweat and shaking, said, how the hell is anyone supposed to learn this? C-rank martial arts are way too freaking hard. He looked around frantically. Su Hong, did you get it? But Su Hong's spot was just an empty space now. Huh? Where did he run off to? Boom, boom, boom. In the distance, Chen Shan was radiating a blazing hot aura, cheering, ha, I finally hit the beginner level. The friend watched in dismay. No wonder everyone calls Chen Shan a genius. How is his brain even wired? The principal proudly introduced him to Chen Tian. That is the #1 genius of our school, Chen Shan. Are you interested in giving him a few pointers? Chen Tian glanced over and replied coldly. You call this thing a genius? In any other city, he's just painfully average. The two men walked out of the modern arena together under the clear blue sky. Chen Tian complained, "Old lie, this batch of students is garbage. You really made me waste a trip for nothing." The principal replied with a resigned sigh. Getting even one kid to reach the beginner level is already a stroke of luck. Did you seriously expect to find a top-tier genius here? The two men chatted as they walked through the campus. Chen Tian sighed. Martial arts training is brutal. Talent really is everything. The principal nodded in agreement. Exactly. Without God-given talent, you can work yourself to the bone and still get absolutely nowhere. Suddenly, a series of earth-shattering explosions erupted from the training field, leaving them both frozen in shock. Boom, boom, boom. Chen Tian gasped in pure amazement seeing a young man covered in lightning. Sevenfold Thunder Rush Punch. Your school actually has a master like this? The principal replied in utter disbelief. No way. I've never heard of anyone like that. Looking closely at the person performing the technique in the distance, the principal screamed, "Look at those clothes. That's a student." Chen Tian broke out in a cold sweat, unable to believe his eyes. I literally just taught this half a day ago, and a student has already reached the Grandmaster level. The resonating sound grew louder and louder. The principal gripped the steel fence, trembling as he cried out, 9 resonances. Am I hearing things? Old Tran, that's 9 resonances. Then he turned around worriedly. Old Tran, what's wrong? Chen Tian just stared at the silhouette with an unreadable smile on his lips. I get it. I finally get it all. He suddenly clenched his fist. Streaks of lightning began wrapping around his arm, stronger than ever before. With a booming shout, Thunder Rush Punch. Chen Tian threw a massively powerful punch into the air. The principal cheered in astonishment. 8 resonances. Old Tran, you broke through. Chen Tian replied excitedly, that kid's Thunder Rush Punch just gave me the inspiration. Without it, I probably would have been stuck for the rest of my life. But then he suddenly realized something way more important. No, now's not the time for this. Hurry up and find out who that student is. The two of them rushed off to search, but by the time they got there, the grassy field only had a faint silhouette walking away. They looked around blankly. Where the hell did he go? Meanwhile, Su Hong was trudging tiredly down the street. I didn't expect training a C-rank skill to drain me this badly. It's way beyond the D-rank Vajra Fist. He opened his status board to check. Vitality 91.7, Spirit 23, Physique 3%, Martial Art Thunder Rush Punch perfect level, etc. He silently calculated that his Thunder Rush Punch had already hit the perfect level. Next, I need to figure out how to grind more martial points so I can break through and become a true martial artist as soon as possible. Instead of another life or death fight, if I just do some casual sparring with someone, would I still get martial points? He stopped in front of an imposing wooden gate named Raging Thunder Dojo. This is definitely the place. Inside the dojo, disciples were eagerly practicing spear techniques under strict supervision. Swish, swish. A classmate recognized him and ran over to ask, "Hey, what are you doing here today?" Su Hong smiled and replied, "Didn't have anything going on today, so I figured I'd swing by for a bit of practice." Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the center of the dojo. A purple-haired guy named Li Duo was viciously stomping on another disciple's head. Bam! He gritted his teeth, threatening with a vicious look. "You dare say my master is a trash teacher? If your comprehension sucks, just admit it. Stop making bullshit excuses." Su Hong frowned as he watched, then asked his friend, "What the hell is going on over there?" The friend whispered nervously, "You haven't been around lately, so you wouldn't know. His master is the new instructor. He's super strong, but he looks down on average guys like us and teaches like he doesn't even care." The friend continued explaining as they watched the violent scene unfold. And his disciple, this Li Duo guy, is insanely strong too. Li Duo punched his opponent straight in the face with a sneer. "With your pathetic level, you actually have the guts to challenge me?" Suddenly, a hand shot out and clamped down on Li Duo's wrist, stopping the punch dead in its tracks. Su Hong appeared, his eyes sharp and cold, calmly saying, "Knock it off, man." Li Duo screamed furiously, "Who the fuck are you? Let go of me. If you've got the balls, fight me one-on-one." Up on the ring, Su Hong casually replied, "Sure thing. I'll play with you." Right at the peak of the tension, a middle-aged man in a suit walked out and barked, "What's all this damn noise? Class is starting." Li Duo reluctantly yanked his hand back, glaring at Su Hong as a challenge before walking away. "You got lucky, punk." Watching his back, Su Hong narrowed his eyes coldly. This guy is a little too arrogant for his own good. The instructor stood in front of the class and declared coldly, "Today is the last day I'm teaching you all the Raging Sea Spear technique. Same rule as always, I'm only demonstrating it exactly once." He grabbed his spear and dashed forward, executing a massive, powerful strike that kicked up a cloud of dust. Swoosh! Finishing the move, he glanced at the crowd with a look of pure contempt. "Humph, just one demonstration. I highly doubt you trash can actually learn it." Su Hong gripped his spear tightly, his cold eyes highly focused as phantom streams of water began wrapping around his body. In his mind, the instructor's silhouette executing the spear technique played back flawlessly through his piercing blue, observant eyes. Bam! The instructor's spear smashed hard against the wooden floor, ending his powerful demonstration in a cloud of dust. He coldly turned his back and walked away, dropping a single, blunt sentence. Alright, how much you guys pick up is totally on you. The crowd of disciples below instantly started whining and complaining. He only showed us once? You've got to be kidding me. We can't even see the damn moves from the back row. In total contrast to the complaining crowd, Su Hong gripped his wooden spear tight, a blazing fire of determination erupting behind him. The absolute core of this spear technique is striking like a water dragon churning the ocean, with the overwhelming force of 1,000 crashing waves. Swish. He started channeling his energy exactly how he just grasped it. Every single movement was incredibly precise. Swoosh. Su Hong thrust out a vicious spear strike, mystical streams of water swirling along with his every move. The crowd of disciples freaked out. Holy crap, it looks like Su Hong actually nailed it. Gasp. What kind of martial arts freak is this? Are we really just too stupid to get it? Right at that moment, Li Dian stepped out, looking pissed. Shut up. What's all the noise about? Who the hell learned it? You seriously think you can pull it off? Su Hong spun around, holding the tip of his spear with absolute badass confidence. Li Dian narrowed his eyes, glaring dangerously. This punk actually looks like he mastered it. I need to test him and see what he's really made of. If he's actually some kind of prodigy, this is gonna be fun. He stomped right into the middle of the arena, shouting his challenge. Hey kid, let me show you how to really use a spear. The crowd instantly scrambled back, clearing the floor for the showdown. Su Hong just calmly shrugged it off. Bring it on. A friend next to him leaned in, whispering nervously. Su Hong, the guy's a total jerk, but his skills are legit. Don't do anything stupid. But he just quietly replied, chill out, I got this. Getting into his fighting stance, Su Hong smoothly said, show me what you've got. Li Dian instantly lunged forward like an absolute tornado. You cocky little punk, eat this. Raging Sea Spear technique, micro mastery level. Facing the vicious attack barreling right at him, Su Hong gently closed his eyes, feeling every single surge of energy. Swoosh. He suddenly spun around, executing a flawless move that completely outclassed his opponent. Raging Sea Spear technique, proficient level. Li Dian was absolutely horrified as he got completely overpowered. No freaking way. The Raging Sea Spear technique, at the proficient level, a surge of deep blue water roared around Su Hong as he unleashed the finishing blow. Raging Sea Spear technique, proficient level, clang. The brutal, ear-piercing sound of metal clashing echoed violently through the dojo. Li Dian gritted his teeth, struggling in absolute denial. How the hell does a loser who isn't even a real martial artist hit the proficient level this damn fast? Su Hong's eyes suddenly flared with an insanely intense golden light, his aura completely blowing up. Bam! With completely overwhelming raw power, Su Hong swatted Li Dian's spear away, sending massive shockwaves through the entire dojo. The system interface flashed a notification, defeated a higher level opponent, martial arts points plus 35. Su Hong thought to himself, I knew it, even casual sparring earns me martial arts points. I definitely need to pick fights with more people from now on. Li Dian collapsed to his knees, totally shell-shocked. No way. This is absolute bullshit. How the hell did he hit the proficient level of the Raging Sea Spear technique this fast? His eyes turned totally bloodshot with pure rage. Then what about me? All these years I spent, completely losing his mind, he snapped and charged forward to throw a wild punch. What was all my damn hard work even for? But right before he could even touch Su Hong, a harsh, commanding voice boomed out. That is enough. Stand down. Li Dian froze dead in his tracks, stammering nervously. Teacher. Smack. The instructor viciously slapped Li Dian across the face and roared, you can't even face your own defeat like a man. How dare you call yourself a martial artist? Li Dian stood completely paralyzed, a bright red handprint stamped on his face, his eyes wide with absolute shock. The instructor stared at the spear embedded in the floor, completely blown away. He watched me demonstrate it exactly once, and he's already mastered the Raging Sea Spear technique to the proficient level. Even the top-tier prodigies in the Imperial capital or the Demon City aren't this unbelievably broken. He grabbed the back of Li Dian's head, shoving him down into a forced bow, and looked at Su Hong. Li Dian has talent, but he's far too arrogant. Getting a harsh reality check from a prodigy like you is exactly what he needed. Young man, it's my fault for failing to discipline him properly. Please accept our apologies. Su Hong just watched him calmly, but deep down he was scoffing. Damn, this old guy changes his tune fast. Leaving the dojo, Su Hong walked quietly down the empty night streets. I am totally dead on my feet today, but man, the payoff was so worth it. He pulled up his glowing status screen, checking his stats with a smug smile. Not only did I unlock the Thunderstrike Fist and the Raging Sea Spear technique, but I also raked in a massive pile of martial arts points. Standing right in front of the gate to Star City's first high school, he thought to himself. The school exams are literally just a few days away. All the rich kids are already gearing up with high-end alloy weapons. I seriously need to get my hands on some real gear before the test. Su Hong clenched his fists, his eyes burning with resolve. Using a spear just feels ridiculously natural to me. From now on, I'm going all in on spear techniques. I need to buy an alloy spear. A sick-looking spear flashed through his mind, but he instantly let out a heavy sigh. But the tiny bit of cash I have isn't even enough to cover Auntie's medical bills, let alone some crazy expensive alloy weapon. The price tag glowed, 6.98. He stood outside the gear shop, stressing out, and sighed. Is there seriously no other way to make a quick buck? Suddenly, a massive digital billboard caught his eye. Out in the wilderness, just past the Star City borders. The monster population is surging by the day. The city lord is actively recruiting martial artists to hunt them down. The bounties are absolutely massive. Su Hong's eyes instantly lit up with wild hope. Hunting monsters outside the city walls? That night, he headed back to the rundown apartment complex where his family lived. Inside, his aunt was anxiously scolding his uncle. Just look at you. Didn't our little Hong already give us a bunch of cash last time? Why are you still working yourself to death? Hong is way too young. There's absolutely no reason to force the entire burden of this family onto that poor boy's shoulders. His uncle just sighed and replied, I need to scrape together as much as I can while my body still lets me. I have to save up for the kids. Su Hong walked into the apartment, his voice softening. Uncle, auntie, I'm home. His uncle instantly perked up. Hong, you're back already? Seeing his aunt doing chores, he immediately rushed over to take over. Auntie, please, let me handle that. His aunt gave him a warm, gentle smile. Oh, you sweet boy. I told you, when you get home, you need to rest. Su Hong carefully helped his uncle apply his medical patches while quietly pleading. Uncle, I can make my own money now. You really don't have to kill yourself working anymore. It's way better if you just stay home and take care of auntie. His uncle let out a tired sigh. That sounds like a dream, kiddo. But you know me. I'd go crazy just sitting around doing nothing. He flashed a big thumbs up with a bright smile, trying to ease Su Hong's worries. Hey, don't sweat it. I'm just picking up some loose change for our daily groceries. I promise I won't push myself too hard. His aunt looked at him with nothing but pure affection and chimed in. You're going to need so much money for your martial arts training in the future, sweetheart. Your uncle and I just want to save up as much as we humanly can for you. Su Hong stared quietly at his wallet, his chest tightening with overwhelming guilt and love. Uncle, auntie, you guys have just gotten way too used to suffering. Unless I can drag in enough cash to set them up for life, they are literally never going to stop working and take care of their own health. His expression hardened, completely locked in and dead serious. I absolutely cannot miss this chance to make bank hunting monsters. Standing alone on the rooftop under the night sky, he started tapping away at his system interface. But the wilderness is no joke. If I want to survive, I need to max out my stats right now. I'm dumping every single martial arts point I just earned straight into my vitality. Crackle, crackle. He sat in deep meditation, a blazing crimson aura flaring up all around his body. Vitality, 95.2. I am literally one step away from becoming a true martial artist. 2 days later, the school gym, 10:40 p.m. Su Hong collapsed flat onto the training mat, gasping for air but grinning like an absolute madman. It took 2 whole damn days, but I finally pushed the Thunderstrike Fist, Diamond Fist, Phantom Light Palm, and the Void Step all the way to peak mastery. He closed his eyes, sweat dripping endlessly down his face. Prep work is officially done. It's time to bust out of this city. Whoosh. Saturday. The Star City Martial Artist Base. Su Hong stood staring up at the massive fortress. Finally made it. Seriously, this place is entirely too far. Walking into the base, he looked around in absolute awe. I've seen it on TV a million times, but actually being inside the martial artist base is wild. He shoved his way through the loud, chaotic crowd of fighters. You barely ever see real martial artists back home, but here, they're literally everywhere. The place was deafening. Su Hong flipped open a bounty guidebook and muttered to himself, unranked monsters, 300 blue star credits a pop. Early stage level 1 monsters, 1,000 credits each. Mid stage level 1 is 3,000 and late stage level 1, 5,000 credits. Early stage level 2 monster. Seeing the next line of rules, his face instantly dropped. After killing a monster, you must cut off its left ear as proof. Otherwise, it doesn't count. Seriously, isn't that a bit primitive? He glanced over at the checkout counter and saw a fighter handing in a sack stuffed with monster ears. Hey gorgeous, tally this up for me, will ya? That bag has got to be full of left ears, right? Suddenly, an angry shout rang out, making everyone scatter. Out of the way, move it, all of you. An arrogant blonde guy strutted through his line of bodyguards. Are you blind? Can't you see Ye Feng is here? Su Hong narrowed his eyes, looking on with suspicion. That outfit, that whole vibe. Why does he remind me of that white fox guy from the underground arena? The crowd around them started muttering in anger, always acting so high and mighty. If his uncle wasn't the manager of this base, I'd have kicked his ass a long time ago. I heard he just got the crap beaten out of him a few days ago. Serves him right. For real? No wonder he's been missing in action lately. Su Hong quietly watched the arrogant group walk past. That Ye Feng gave a smug, condescending smirk. Su Hong's eyes suddenly went cold. It seemed he just caught onto something interesting. He hurried off, thinking to himself that the real danger out here wasn't just the monsters. It was the people. I gotta be really careful. When he reached the security gate, the guard looked at him full of doubt. A kid like you, first time here, and you're planning to head into the wasteland all by yourself. Su Hong answered casually. Yep. Watching the teen's back as he walked into the tunnel, the guard sighed heavily. Just another punk with a death wish. completely clueless about how the real world works. Leaving the whispers behind, Su Hong officially stepped out of the base and set foot on the lush green grass of the outskirts. He ventured alone into the deep, ancient forest, where massive old trees completely blocked out the sun. Su Hong stopped and rolled up his sleeves, his eyes burning with determination. This trip, I am definitely coming back with a bag full of loot. 2 hours later, in the middle of the dead silent forest, he leaned against a tree, chugging some water while looking confused. Why haven't I seen a single damn monster yet? Don't tell me they've all been wiped out at the edge of the forest? Not wanting to waste any more time, he instantly sped up and dashed deeper into the woods. Let's head deeper in and see. Whoosh! Suddenly, Su Hong froze, sweat beading on his forehead as he heard a weird noise up ahead. Rustle! From the bushes, a massive white wolf with glowing red eyes slowly stepped out, growling threateningly. He quickly identified the target using what he'd studied. This has got to be that early-stage level 1 monster from the textbooks, the Phantom Moon Wolf. This is my first time seeing one alive. The wolf bared its razor-sharp fangs and let out a roar that shook the whole forest. Roar! It suddenly tensed its legs and lunged straight at him. A long howl ripped through the air. The beast swung its razor-sharp claws, hurtling right at Su Hong's spot with insane speed. Slash! With a lightning-fast roll, he slickly dodged the monster's pounce by a hair. Whoosh! Instantly, Su Hong clenched his fist, and blinding yellow lightning exploded around his hand. He unleashed a thunderous punch right into the wolf's gut. Rushing Thunder Fist. Watching the wolf collapse, Su Hong held up his shaking hand, totally mind-blown. So this is what fighting a monster feels like. That was way more intense than I imagined. A confident grin spread across his face as he realized how much stronger he'd gotten. With my current power, I can one-shot an early-stage level 1 monster. Wonder how I'd hold up against a mid-stage level 1? Right on cue, another roar echoed out as a giant bear appeared, a mid-stage level 1 monster. The raging black bear. Thud. He didn't even bother looking back, just casually threw a punch. The bear dropped dead on the spot. He stood tall over the carcass. Su Hong silently sized up the situation. Seems like as long as I don't piss off the level 2 monsters, I won't be in too much danger. He calmly used his knife to slice off the bear's ear as proof. Sweet, that's another 3,000 bucks in the bag. Suddenly, a crucial system alert popped up, notifying him that his accumulated martial points were enough to break through to a martial artist. Please upgrade as soon as possible. Su Hong was hyped. Finally, I can finally break through and become a real martial artist. Out of nowhere, an overpowered roar shook the entire forest, making him jump. Su Hong stood up, his eyes turning sharp as he glared in the direction of the sound. That crazy aura. What kind of monster is that? He instantly triggered his footwork and dashed over to check it out. Let's go see what's up. Whoosh, whoosh. When he got there, his eyes went wide with horror at what he saw. Right in front of him was a massive python radiating a terrifying purple dark energy, a late-stage level 1 monster, the Black Jade Python. 2 armored fighters screamed in pure desperation, "Ah!" as they desperately tried to fight off the giant beast. Bam! One of them was sent flying, smashing hard into the cliff wall. While Su Hong stood up high, watching with a serious expression, the giant python let out an earth-shattering roar. Roar. It forced Su Hong to focus up completely. Without hesitating, he dove down to help, gliding through the shattered rocks to face off against the Black Jade Python. Whoosh! The beast whipped its massive tail across the battlefield with terrifying speed. Swish! Su Hong dodged clumsily, secretly terrified by its raw power. It's too fast. Boom. Crash. Unable to dodge in time, he took a direct hit and was sent flying, fresh blood splattering all over the ground from the attack. Su Hong choked and coughed in agony. Cough, cough. He staggered to his knees next to the unconscious fighter, his face looking dead serious. Su Hong wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, his eyes turning ice cold. He tightly gripped the fallen fighter's spear and muttered, "Gonna borrow your spear for a sec." Standing tall in front of the giant monster, Su Hong dropped into a fighting stance with the spear in hand. The python opened its massive jaw full of razor-sharp fangs and let out a roar that ripped through the night. Roar! Su Hong started accelerating towards it, his mind calmly analyzing the situation. Usually, to take down a late-stage level 1 monster, you need a few fighters of the same level working together. But all of my martial skills have already reached the maxed-out stage, and I easily slaughtered that mid-stage. Level 1, Raging Black Bear. He glided forward like a ghost. Whoosh! Whoosh! Every step he took was unpredictable, closing the gap on the monster in a split second. He vaulted into the air, launching a decisive strike, which means, right now, I actually have what it takes to fight this Black Jade Python. Max level void stepping footwork. A surge of deep blue water energy wrapped around the spear as he unleashed the max level Raging Sea Spear technique. Stab. The spearhead pierced right through its tough scales, sinking deep into the monster's flesh. The Black Jade Python shrieked and thrashed wildly in agony from the heavy wound. Roar! Su Hong did a flip right onto its back, staying on the move to hunt for the next opening. Whoosh! He gripped the spear's shaft tight, pouring all his strength into the coming strike. As he landed, that mystical water aura flared up again, swirling around his body. Su Hong's eyes flashed brilliantly from beneath his dark hair. He let out another fierce grunt. Ha! Boom. A thrust tore right through the air, aiming straight for the giant python's head. The snake shrieked in absolute misery as it took barrage after barrage of lightning-fast strikes from the teenager. Roar! Blurry after images of Su Hong popped up everywhere, launching a relentless assault that didn't even give the beast a chance to react. Whoosh! Boom! Standing in the middle of the wrecked battlefield, he panted heavily, thinking it through. The size difference is way too huge, making it super hard to land a one-shot kill. He narrowed his eyes, prepping for the final blow. So all I can do is wear it down as much as possible, then look for an opening to drop a critical hit. Su Hong channeled everything he had into his fist, and thunder exploded, echoing across the entire forest. Max-level rushing thunder fist. Bang, bang, bang. Su Hong quickly dashed back after the successful hit, calculating his next move. After landing a hit, I've got to immediately create some distance from this giant snake. He laser-focused on every single move it made, searching for another blind spot, striking again, and then dipping out fast. His breathing grew insanely heavy, drenched in sweat, but his eyes stayed locked in. This fighting style is draining as hell, but it's safe. Huff, huff. The monster was also growling in exhaustion. Su Hong figured it looked like it was finally reaching its limit. Just a few more clashes and I can take this thing down for good. He gripped the wooden spear tight and charged forward fearlessly. Let's end this. Whoosh. A sudden piercing screech of wind from behind made Su Hong instantly go on high alert. He whipped his head around, his eyes full of caution as he yelled, "Who's there?" A huge, hulking guy wearing a red mask popped out of nowhere, charging right at him while laughing like a maniac. Ha ha ha. The guy swung a roaring, fiery punch. Su Hong hurriedly raised his arms to block, but the force was just too much. Boom. A deafening explosion rang out as Su Hong was sent flying, tumbling across the dirt. Clutching his chest, he coughed violently in pain. Cough, cough. Struggling to his feet, he glared at the approaching figures and spat furiously. Who the hell are you guys? Young Master Diep strolled out with his lackeys, his voice dripping with arrogance. Well, we meet again. How about you hand over this black jade python to me? The group of strange martial artists surrounded Su Hong as he kneeled on the ground, a suffocating killing intent engulfing the area. Young Master Diep smirked, recalling the first time he saw him at the gates. Back then, when I saw you daring to leave the city all by yourself, I was absolutely sure you'd end up a corpse out here. He glanced at the dying python lying there. Who would have thought your luck was this insane? Not only did you survive, but you even managed to scavenge a dying black jade python like this. Su Hong was stunned as he realized their intentions. He thinks I just scavenged this python? That means they just got here. All 5 of them are martial artists. There's too many of them, I can't take them head on. A massive bodyguard lunged forward, waving his fist threateningly. Listen here, you little punk. Didn't you hear what young Master Diep said? The young master wants this python. If you know what's good for you, get the hell lost. Su Hong kept his head down, furious sparks igniting in his eyes, his fists clenching with resentment beneath his dark hair. He shot up to his feet, crimson lightning exploding around his hands once again. I only got pushed back just now because you cheap-shotted me. Do you guys seriously think I can't beat all of you? Boom. A lightning-infused punch was thrown, clashing head-on with the massive enemy. The masked guy watched in sheer terror as he felt the overwhelming force. What the? This power is terrifying. With a decisive movement and horrifying speed, Su Hong unleashed a strike that instantly dropped his opponent. Smash. Young Master Diep and his lackeys stood in the back, totally dumbfounded as they stared at their comrade collapsed in the grass. Young Master Diep narrowed his eyes, closely examining Su Hong's previous move. Vajra Fist. How surprising. It really is you, the Bull Demon King. Su Hong flinched upon hearing his underground arena title. At that moment, young Master Diep took off his mask, revealing a handsome but vicious face. You're the very first person who dared to humiliate me in front of that many people. He coldly ordered his subordinates to charge in and kill him. Knowing he couldn't win against a whole mob when he was running on fumes, Su Hong quickly dashed away. Young Master Diep screamed. After him, they searched frantically through the woods. Where the hell did he go? The forest ahead is super dense, it's the perfect spot for an ambush. Everyone, stay sharp. A subordinate holding a blade scoffed with absolute confidence. There's so many of us. Are we seriously scared of one little brat? Swoosh. A dark silhouette flashed behind him like lightning, giving him zero time to react. Su Hong's eyes glinted with a cold blue light as he materialized right in his target's line of sight. Bam! A lethal strike slammed right into the back of his neck, making the lackey crumple instantly. The guy lay completely motionless on the ground, blood pooling out from his mask onto the green grass. Young Master Diep started to feel uneasy, sweat rolling down his face. Damn it, this kid is way too fast. Another henchman cried out in a panic after seeing Su Hong's technique. Young Master Diep, that's the Thunder Fist. The ninefold resonance of the Thunder Fist. Not even a level 3 martial artist can master the Thunder Fist to perfection. Young Master Diep roared to cover up his fear. Shut your mouth. Perfected Vajra Fist, and now perfected Thunder Fist too? How the hell is something this freaky even possible? Up on a high branch, Su Hong quietly gripped his spear, watching his prey below. If I hadn't just fought that python and burned through so much of my energy, I could have crushed these bastards in a straight fight. He narrowed his eyes, channeling his strength to hurl the spear forward. Right now, my only option is to pick them off one by one whenever I get the chance. The spear pierced deeply into the dirt. Su Hong hid silently in the high branches, watching with patience. From above, he suddenly swooped down like a phantom, his eyes flashing with brilliant blue electricity, scaring the absolute crap out of the lackey trailing in the back. Crash! A lightning-charged kick slammed right into the enemy's head, the impact so intense it shook the very air around them. Fresh blood splattered everywhere as Su Hong took down yet another henchman right in front of his dumbstruck comrades. Witnessing that bloodbath, one of the goons trembled and pleaded, "Young Master Deep, that brat is too strong. We need to run." But young Master Deep coldly snapped back, "Run? Are you freaking kidding me?" He swung his giant blade like a maniac, roaring in a fit of rage. "I am going to kill him today, no matter what." Before another subordinate could even process what was happening, he felt Su Hong's shadow blur past him in a flash. Wham! He was knocked flying like a kite with a snapped string, leaving young Master Deep standing paralyzed in the middle of the woods. Young Master Deep gritted his teeth, sweating bullets, unable to believe his own eyes. Damn it, it's only been a few days. How the hell did this punk get so much stronger? Su Hong vanished and reappeared, closing in right behind him, making young Master Deep whip around in panic. He frantically swung his arms around in the air. Damn it, damn it. Meanwhile, Su Hong leaped far back, resting his spear on his shoulder with a mocking look in his eyes. It was finally this guy's turn to be pushed into a corner. Young Master Deep pulled out his trump card. "Don't you dare think you've cornered me." He instantly unleashed his attack, the void-piercing finger, right at Su Hong. Slash! A ridiculously powerful spear arc swept right past him. The shockwave from the strike was so insane that it shattered a nearby ancient tree, sending it crashing to the ground. Young Master Deep roared continuously, his fingers flaring up with deep blue energy. Void-piercing finger, void-piercing finger, void-piercing finger. As Su Hong dodged, he carefully analyzed his opponent's moves. The power is massive. The tier of this martial art isn't low. Could it be B rank? He pointed manically at him, his face twisted as he spat out a threat. "You little bastard, show yourself. If you dare lay a finger on me, I'll have your entire family slaughtered the second I get back." Those words pushed Su Hong to his absolute breaking point. His face fell into shadow, his eyes burning with pure murderous intent. "Slaughter my family?" Swoosh! Su Hong bolted at terrifying speeds, leaving trails of blue lightning that tore through the ancient forest. Absolutely terrified, he started bringing up his family's power to save his own skin. "My uncle is the martial base supervisor. My dad is." Out of nowhere, Su Hong appeared right behind him like the Grim Reaper, glowing red electricity bursting from his hands. Su Hong spoke with ice in his voice. "You know, I actually liked your arrogant attitude from earlier way better." Whack! A point-blank punch smashed straight into young Master Deep's face, completely mangling his features. The punch was so brutal it launched him into the air, blood spraying everywhere. Young Master Deep's body went flying and slammed violently into a distant cliffside. Thick dust billowed up into the air. Amidst the dust and smoke, Su Hong stood tall, breathing heavily but oozing pure intimidation. Ha ha ha. He slowly walked toward the defeated loser, his whole body radiating a fiery red aura. "You really shouldn't have threatened my family." Young Master Deep was slumped on the ground, his face covered in blood, groaning in absolute despair. "How can you be this strong? This is impossible. You're not even a real martial artist yet." Young Master Deep stared at the approaching Su Hong and screamed in a mix of rage and terror. "What kind of freak are you?" Meanwhile, the python from earlier was already stalking him from behind. He suddenly froze and looked over his shoulder. In a split second, the snake's tail slammed down, smashing his entire body into a bloody pulp. Su Hong gripped his spear, facing off against the roaring python. Roar! He silently realized he had wasted way too much time fighting it earlier, and this giant python had actually recovered its strength. Young Master Deep's henchman finally woke up, immediately panicking. "Damn it, that kid is a total freak. Where's young Master Deep? Did he finish off that brat yet?" One of them narrowed his eyes, on high alert as he heard rapid footsteps sprinting toward them. Thud, thud. Su Hong suddenly appeared, charging straight at the two lackeys, making them jump out of their skin. "You little bastard, you finally showed your face. I'm not gonna let you off. Get the hell out of the way." Out of nowhere, the giant python lunged from behind, making their eyes pop out of their skulls in sheer terror. Roar! The monster snapped its jaws around one of the henchmen, his agonizing screams piercing the air. The system displayed a notification. Indirectly killed an enemy martial artist. Received 30 martial arts points. Smash! The python swatted down another guy. A deafening crash echoed, followed by the notification. Indirectly killed an enemy martial artist. Received 30 martial arts points. Su Hong celebrated internally. He hadn't expected to earn martial arts points this way too. He dashed through the dust and smoke, sweat pouring down his face, his expression filled with unwavering resolve. He used Void Step to leap high into the air, doing the math in his head. After all these insane fights, his martial arts points were finally enough to break through and become a real martial artist. The python lunged at him with its jaws wide open. Su-hong dodged wildly while looking for a way out. Man, if I could just find a safe spot to break through right now. His eyes locked onto a narrow path, and a smirk crept onto his face. Hell yeah, perfect. That cave is exactly what I need. He dashed forward like a gust of wind, with the massive, bloodthirsty python right on his tail. Whoosh. Boom. A massive shockwave blasted the entrance of the rock cave, kicking up a thick cloud of dust and smoke. Su-hong pressed himself against the dark cave wall, panting heavily as he watched the monster's silhouette outside. Ha! Ha! The python frantically rammed its head into the cave entrance, letting out an earth-shattering roar. Roar! It's trying to squeeze its way in. Su-hong calmly opened his system panel right in front of the screaming beast. Player Su-hong. Vitality, 96+. Spirit, 23+. Martial arts points, 504. He started spam-tapping the plus sign next to his vitality, screaming in his head. Come on, hurry up. A blazing red aura exploded around his body. My vitality is surging. My whole body feels like it's on fire. It's like actual lava is pumping through my veins instead of blood. The system screen flashed a brilliant red with a notification. Vitality, 100. The python in front of him could instantly feel the deadly threat coming from this massive surge of power. A blinding golden light erupted. The system notification chimed. Breakthrough to level 1 martial artist. Su-hong stood tall in the middle of the crimson flames. Finally, I'm a real martial artist now. He clenched his fiery fist, glaring at the monster as it backed away in fear. My turn, you ugly freak. Su-hong launched himself forward at breakneck speed, his eyes flashing with a terrifying, blood-red glare. Whoosh, bam. A devastating punch slammed right into the python's body, leaving it absolutely terrified. A blinding blast of golden light struck the monster's head like a lightning bolt from the gods. A miserable, agonizing shriek echoed out. The python coughed up a fountain of fresh blood, its eyes rolling back in pure agony. Su-hong wound up, channeling every ounce of his strength into his fist for a follow-up strike. Vajra Fist. He threw the finishing punch, smashing it directly into the skull of the massive, desperately screaming monster. But right at that second, the python snapped back with a desperate counterattack that forced him to stagger back. He gritted his teeth, wiping a streak of dried blood from the corner of his mouth. Chich! Su-hong gripped his spear tight, his raw energy surging so hard it literally warped the air around him. Just dropped dead already. He brought the spear down on the beast with an earth-shattering strike. A massive burst of blue energy exploded, and the giant python let out one final, agonizing roar as the blue lightning from the spear completely fried its brain. Roar! Without giving it a second to breathe, Su-hong channeled all his power back into his fist, blazing with golden fire. Thunderclap fist. Boom! The punch completely caved in the monster's skull, making it shriek in absolute misery. Ah! The hit was so ridiculously heavy that it pinned the black jade python's head straight into the dirt, blasting open a massive crater. The dust slowly cleared after that insane finishing blow, and dead silence returned to the forest. Huff, huff. Standing tall on top of the giant python's corpse, he checked the system notification. Martial arts points, plus 92. Even though this giant snake was already badly hurt before we fought, the fact is, I just tanked its attacks head-on. He squatted down and pulled out his knife to carve up the loot, but suddenly froze, totally confused. Wait a sec. To claim the monster bounty, you need to cut off the left ear as proof. But snakes don't even have freaking ears. What the hell am I supposed to do? Ugh, screw it. I need to get out of here anyway. Su-hong left the battlefield, quietly walking through the gloomy, gray, rocky valley. He slung his spear over his shoulder, passing by the lifeless bodies of Ye Feng and his lackeys. Step, step. He stared down at the guy who, just a minute ago, was acting so high and mighty, threatening to slaughter his entire family. Now just a dead lump on the ground. He scoffed coldly. Dying like this was way too easy on a scumbag like you. Suddenly remembering something, he crouched down and started digging through the guy's pockets. I wonder if I can find that high-level martial arts manual he was spamming earlier. Rustle, rustle. He pulled out a worn-out notebook, his eyes instantly lighting up as he read the title. Void-piercing finger. As it got late, Su-hong found the perfect little hideout deep inside the valley. He shoved some massive boulders in front of the cave entrance to make sure no one would crash his party. Sitting by the crackling campfire, Su-hong completely zoned in on the manual. Awesome. I've memorized the entire beginner method for the void-piercing finger. Now it's time to let the system help me master this thing on fast forward. He closed his eyes, logging into the system space, and summoned his training clone. All right, let's do this. Come on out. The clone instantly rushed him, shooting beams of finger force that literally tore the air apart as they flew at Su-hong. Whoosh! Su-hong threw himself into a hardcore, insane training montage. The status bars kept jumping like crazy. Void-piercing finger, 51%, 63%, 85%, 97%. After a brutal, explosive clash, the system chimed. Void-piercing finger, beginner level, 100%. He stumbled backward, coughing up blood from the intense pressure. Cough, cough. He wiped the blood off his chin, staring at the manual in absolute shock. Damn. It totally lives up to the hype of a B-rank skill. I'm only at the beginner level, and the recoil is already this insane. Time to go hunt down a monster and take this bad boy for a test drive. 3 days later, a massive, vicious bear showed up, its savage growl shattering the dead silence of the woods. Su Hong vaulted into the air, channeling a deep blue energy into his fingertip as he locked onto his target. Void-piercing finger. Zap. The blast instantly punched a clean hole straight through the beast's body. The system flashed a new notification. Void-piercing finger. Great success. Void-piercing finger. Perfect mastery. He cracked a satisfied smirk. Hell yeah. Finally hit perfect mastery. The raw power of this move seriously earns its B-rank title. Anyway, time to head back. The scene cuts to the Star City martial arts base. A huge crowd of fighters was going crazy at the payout counter. Holy crap, $230,000 in total. The guys in the Thunder Squad are absolutely insane. How did they even slaughter that many monsters? That amount of loot is literally my entire month's salary. Praises were echoing from every corner. That's so sick. There isn't a single unranked beast in there. They're all level 1s, and they even bagged a few high-level ones too. Just then, Su Hong quietly slammed a ginormous burlap sack onto the counter. The appraisal staff member read the tally out loud, absolutely horrified. Early stage level 1s, 72. Mid stage, 83. Late stage, 17. The grand total comes out to 406,000 blue star coins. Seeing every single jaw in the room drop to the floor, Su Hong started sweating bullets, instantly regretting his life choices. Crap, did I overdo the killing a bit? This is way too flashy. I really should have held back and hunted a little less. Suddenly, a massive explosion violently shook the base's central building. Boom! The crowd panicked and rushed outside to see what happened. What the hell was that? Is the base under attack? No way, that's impossible. There are tons of top-tier martial artists guarding this place. The base supervisor, Ye Feng's uncle, stormed out, looking like he was ready to murder someone. He roared at the top of his lungs, "Lock down the entire base, right now. Don't let a single damn fly out of here." The guards shouted back in unison, "Understood." A panicked subordinate sprinted over and asked, "Supervisor Ye, what on earth just happened?" Yi Qi ground his teeth together, screaming in absolute unhinged fury. "My nephew, Yi Feng, and the 4 martial artists escorting him. They're all dead." The crowd of fighters gasped, bursting into frantic whispers. Wait, Yi Feng was actually killed, and his entire 5-man squad got completely wiped off the map. Even so, a bunch of people were secretly thrilled, whispering to each other, "Ha, sir, is that bastard right? Seriously, who in here hasn't been shaken down by Yi Feng at least once? Seriously, if he wasn't backed by his rich family, I would have snapped his neck myself a long time ago." That walking disaster finally got exactly what was coming to him. Yi Qi glared daggers at the crowd, issuing a cold, ruthless order. A B-rank martial arts manual was stolen from Yi Feng's body. Every single martial artist in here is getting strip-searched. Nobody leaves until we clear every suspect. Standing deep in the crowd, Su Hong stayed dead silent, watching closely and running the numbers in his head. Based on how messed up those bodies were, it's totally obvious they were slaughtered by that giant python. There's zero chance they can trace this back to me. Playing it cool, he started walking, trying to smoothly slip through the blockade of officers locking down the base. Out of nowhere, Supervisor Ye Qi's booming voice echoed through the hall, making Su Hong freeze up in sheer panic. Wait, no freaking way. Are they already targeting me? The massive crowd of fighters quickly parted like the Red Sea, making way as Ye Qi and his squad of grim-faced, black-suited goons marched straight toward him. Ye Qi glared down at Su Hong, his eyes practically glowing red with bloodthirsty killing intent. Well, little guy, I hear you single-handedly slaughtered $400,000 worth of monsters. Gotta admit, those are some pretty impressive skills. He just stood there, his face completely shadowed and radiating a terrifying menace. The secretary standing next to him chimed in, sounding super suspicious. I already ran his background check. He's an early stage level 1 at best. There's no way he could have killed that many by himself. He absolutely must have looted Ye Feng's backpack. Search him, right now. 2 hulking bodyguards with fists literally engulfed in flames stepped up, towering over him. Listen up, kid. Don't even think about fighting back, or things are gonna get real ugly. Swish. A blinding streak of light slashed through the air like lightning, missing the bodyguard's face by an inch and scaring the absolute life out of him. Su Hong fell into a stance with his spear, leaving the bodyguards totally dumbfounded. What the hell? I couldn't even track how fast he drew that thing. He glared coldly at Ye Qi and declared, I go to Star City's #1 high school. Are you guys seriously gonna search me? Ye Qi narrowed his eyes, calculating. The principal of the #1 high school was notorious for protecting his students, definitely not someone to screw with. But this punk was way too suspicious. He stared at Su Hong's defiant face and paused. If he actually hunted down all those monsters, he's a straight-up genius. Wrongfully accusing a genius could blow up in his face big time. Ye Qi switched his tone, stepping closer to press him. My nephew got ambushed, and our family's heirloom martial arts manual was stolen. I have to catch the bastard who did it. I expect your full cooperation. Su Hong shot back coolly, and I expect you won't try to pin this on an innocent guy. To smooth things over, Ye Qi threw out an offer that reeked of dirty money, framing it as compensation for the pat-down. How about I give you 10,000 yuan? Su Hong held up 3 fingers, his eyes dead serious. Make it 30,000. Yi Feng got wiped out by that giant python. As long as they didn't find the manual on him, they couldn't pin squat on him. Yi Qi gave a firm nod. Deal. Right on cue, 2 bodyguards started patting Su Hong down super thoroughly. After finding absolutely nothing, the bodyguard shrugged. Boss, he's clean. Yi Qi waved his hand. Enough. Give him the 30,000 and let him bounce. Strolling away from the checkpoint, Su Hong let out a sly smirk, flashing back to when he torched that manual in the woods. Thank God I covered my tracks, or I'd be in deep shit right now. Behind him, he could still hear Ye Qi screaming orders at his goons. Keep searching. Nobody leaves until we clear every single suspect. Meanwhile, Su Hong was already mapping out his next moves. First things first, I need a shower and some fresh clothes. Then, I'm hitting the Martial Arts Association for my certification and registration. I gotta get my hands on a channeling technique, as soon as possible. Not long after, he was chilling in a fancy room at the Martial Arts Base's Inn. Sitting cross-legged on the bed, Su Hong stared at his system panel in shock. 534 martial points? Holy crap, that's a lot. I've been so damn busy grinding the void-shattering finger and hunting beasts that I totally ignored it. Name, Su Hong. Vitality, 103 plus. Spirit, 23 plus. Physique, mortal body, 6% plus. Martial skills, void-shattering finger, maxed. Raging sea spear art, maxed. Roaring thunder fist, maxed. Floating light palm, maxed. Void tread footwork, maxed. Martial points, 534. His eyes locked onto the other stats. My spirit and physique are still totally base level. I have no idea what upgrading them even does, but whatever. I'm loaded with points right now. Let's just mess around and find out. He started dumping points into spirit. Spirit plus 0.1, plus 0.1. I don't feel a damn thing after buffing my spirit. He swapped over to his physique. Mortal body, plus 0.1. Oh, the power boost is real. Let's pump it up a bit more. The updated status board flashed brightly. Name, Su Hong. Vitality, 123, plus. Spirit, 26.5. Physique, mortal body, 36.1%. Martial skills, void-shattering finger, maxed. Raging sea spear art, maxed. Vajra fist, maxed. Floating light palm, maxed. Void tread footwork, maxed. Martial points, 0. Su Hong crunched the numbers in his head. Alright, that's enough for my physique. Now, let's dump 200 points into vitality and shove the rest straight into spirit. Instantly, a blazing, blood-red aura exploded out, wrapping completely around him. It feels like an endless well of pure power is just erupting inside me. Slammed by the massive wave of spiritual energy, Su Hong's body rapidly transformed, pushing him to a totally insane new level of strength. Sitting cross-legged on his bed, Su Hong let out a huge sigh of relief as his body finally shrunk back to normal. Phew, thank God that wore off. If I was stuck looking like a roided-out freak, how the hell was I gonna explain it to anyone? An hour later, over at the Star City Martial Arts Association, Su Hong strolled up to the front desk and asked politely, "Hey there, I'm here to take the official martial artist certification test." The receptionist gave a quick nod. "All right, a staff member will escort you there right away." As they walked, the guide couldn't help but shoot the kid super skeptical looks. "You're this young and already taking the test. First time, just so you know. To pass as a Tier 1 martial artist, you need at least 100 vitality and over 1,000 combat power. Good luck, kid." Su Hong just gave a chill nod. "Thanks." As he walked off, the peanut gallery immediately started whispering behind his back. Is that kid really flying solo? Where's his master? At his age? Shh. He's probably just here to try his luck. Suddenly, Su Hong's eyes flashed cold. A massive shockwave erupted, violently rattling the air around them. Boom! Meanwhile, inside the testing room, the head examiner was loudly announcing the results for another candidate. Fan Jia. Vitality, 102. Combat power, 992. Failed. The guy groaned, totally crushed. Damn it, I was so freaking close. The examiner moved right along, calling the next name. Li Ming. Vitality, 105. Passed. Move on to the combat power test. Li Ming stepped up to the high-tech combat power scanner, while the whole crowd of martial artists watched eagerly. He let out a massive roar and unleashed a thunderous punch that practically shook the whole room. Boom, boom, boom. The digital screen ticked wildly before a booming voice announced, "Combat power, 1,763. Peak level." The crowd immediately blew up with hype. 1,763? Dude, that's practically hitting the ceiling for a Tier 1. Wait, ain't that Jiang Ming's disciple from the Raging Thunder Dojo? No wonder he's so damn good. Yeah, he even used the Roaring Thunder Fist. Watching from the back, Su Hong rubbed his chin, a bit confused. Jiang Ming's disciple? I thought his disciple was Li Yan. Just how many students does that old geezer actually have? You're up next. The examiner's shout snapped Su Hong out of his thoughts. Li Ming shot him a cocky, condescending smirk as he walked past. Taking the test at your age? Please, only a true genius like me can pull that off. You really think a nobody like you can even compare? Pathetic. But a second later, the guy's eyes practically bulged out of his skull as he stared at the scanner. What the hell? Wait, is the vitality scanner busted? How the fuck are his numbers that high? Even the examiner was totally mind-blown as he read the results. Su Hong. Vitality, 123. Passed. Li Ming lost his absolute mind, screaming, "That's complete bullshit. It's impossible." He desperately tried to pull himself together, sweating bullets. Chill out, just chill out, man. High vitality doesn't mean shit. Combat power is the only thing that matters. It's everything. The group moved toward the center of the room. The examiner signaled for the next phase. Begin the combat power test. Standing in front of the machine, Su Hong tightened his fist, getting a feel for his new strength. I've officially broken through as a martial artist and totally beefed up my physique. My power level is off the charts. A quarter of my strength should be more than enough for this. But if I hold back too much and fail, that'd be super annoying. He narrowed his eyes, deciding to adjust his output. Screw it, I'll use 1/5 of my power just to play it safe. Smash! He launched a brutal, dead-center punch right into the scanner's bullseye, the sheer shockwave ripping the air to shreds. The insane impact sent the heavy, reinforced scanner flying completely off its base, skidding across the floor like a goddamn missile. Crash. Bang. Kaboom. The machine slammed violently into the lab wall and straight up exploded, leaving the entire room in absolute dead silence. Every single martial artist's jaw dropped to the floor. He literally punched the scanner right off its base. What the fuck kind of psycho strength is that? Hold up, did he even use a martial skill just now? As the smoke cleared, the cracked screen flashed an impossible number. 3004. The baseline for a late-stage Tier 1 is only 3000. I'm totally tripping right now. There's no way those numbers are real. Up on the observation deck, a panicked staff member frantically radioed his boss. "Sir, it's that kid again. He's a total freaking monster." The middle-aged supervisor stared down at Su Hong, his expression dead serious. "So it's him. Makes sense." Meanwhile, all the way up in the association's top-floor suite, golden sunset rays poured into the lavish office. The president of the Star City Martial Arts Association, Wu Lingxian, was literally tearing his hair out in frustration. Damn it, that neighboring Yang City branch keeps popping out geniuses and flexing on us non-stop. Flexing my ass. If Star City doesn't produce some top-tier talent soon, I'm gonna lose my damn job. Suddenly, the office doors flew open, and a breathless staff member rushed in. "Boss. President, an absolute monster just showed up at the certification exams." The shout made Wu Lingxian jump so hard he completely dropped his phone. The guy was still hyperventilating. He's an entry-level Tier 1, and he just punched the scanner off its hinges with pure physical strength. His combat power hit the 3000 mark. Wu Lingxian just froze, completely stunned by the bombshell. Cutting back to the main hall of the Martial Arts Association, the place was as loud and chaotic as ever. A staff member led Su Hong away, speaking gently. "All right, little bro, let me take you up to the second floor to get your fighter ID registered first. After that, we can go grab your allowance." The polite teen replied, "Thanks, man." Suddenly, a pair of shiny black high heels clicked to a halt from above. Vo Lam Tien looked down, her voice dripping with authority. "You're done here. I'll be handling this kid personally." The staff member froze, completely caught off guard. "Huh?" He looked up, his eyes widening in shock. "Madam President." Standing before them was the breathtakingly gorgeous and fiercely intimidating head of the association. Vo Lam Tien stepped closer, locking eyes with the teenager. "You're Su Hong, right? I am Vo Lam Tien, president of the Star City Martial Arts Association branch. Come with me." Su Hong gave a slight nod. "Yes, ma'am." But inside, he was totally sizing her up. Asterisk. "Wait, this chick is the association president? They say she's a level 5 fighter, but she looks way different than what I pictured." Asterisk. The two of them stepped into the president's office together. Golden afternoon sunlight flooded the massive, insanely luxurious room. Vo Lam Tien casually crossed her legs, radiating absolute confidence. "You go to First High School, right? That sneaky old fox, Li Than's son, was just whining to me a minute ago. He was crying about how his school only managed to produce 2 painfully average level 1 fighters this year. And yet, here they are, hiding an absolute monster like you." Su Hong broke into a nervous sweat and awkwardly asked, So, why did you drag me all the way to your office? I literally just came here to register as a fighter, grab my allowance, and pick up a breathing technique." Vo Lam Tien waved a hand dismissively. "Chill out. I already had the staff process your fighter ID and your monthly cash." She stood up, her piercing gaze locking him down with heavy authority. "As for the breathing technique, I'm going to teach you that myself. Tell me, how much do you actually know about them right now?" Su Hong thought for a second before answering. "Well, the textbooks say that the world's aura has different elemental attributes, and breathing techniques are basically just ways to absorb that aura to buff your own power. Absorbing different elements means you need the right breathing technique to match. Suddenly, a fierce flame ignited right in the palm of Vo-Lam Tian's hand. The textbooks aren't entirely wrong, but breathing techniques are way more than just some boring training method. Take the heavenly fire breathing technique that I use, for example. It mainly absorbs fire attribute aura. She clenched her blazing fist, the flames roaring higher. Sure, it beefs up my physical body, but it also infuses every single one of my attacks with pure, destructive fire. Whoosh! A super intense burst of flames shot out from her hand, and if you can manage to project your elemental attacks outside your body, it completely blasts your attack range wide open. But honestly, for a newbie, level 1 fighter, forget about wrapping your fists in an element. Just pulling off a tiny spark of it is already crazy impressive. Su Hong was totally blown away. Wait, you can use breathing techniques to attack? I always thought they were just for grinding aura to level up. The textbooks literally never mention that. Vo-Lam Tian raised her hand, and 7 glowing elemental symbols materialized in the air. The aura of this world is divided into 7 core attributes: metal, wood, water, fire, earth, lightning, and wind. Every single one of them has its own pros and cons. But when we're talking about pure, raw attack power, lightning is king, metal takes second place, and fire is third. She pulled out a deep crimson crystal orb to test him. However, which breathing technique you can actually learn entirely depends on your elemental compatibility. It suddenly clicked for Su Hong. So I can't just pick whatever technique looks cool. Vo-Lam Tian held up the brightly glowing orb. This is a compatibility crystal. The more it lights up, the higher your sync rate with that element. Your average fighter usually hits around 20 to 30%. Mine is sitting at 80%, which is already considered god tier. She handed the orb over to him, her eyes burning with expectation. But for an absolute freak of nature like you, I bet my life you're going to smash past 90%. Su Hong grabbed the orb, sweating bullets on the inside. The president hit level 5 at her age. She's a legit prodigy, and even she only got 80%. If I actually hit 90%, that's just way too overpowered. Out of nowhere, blinding rays of light violently exploded from the crystal. Both of them were stunned, speechless. A massive wave of crimson light completely swallowed the room. Vo-Lam Tian screamed in pure hype. It's maxed. It's completely maxed out. 100% fire compatibility. She grabbed Su Hong by the shoulders, shaking him as she fired off her words. Do you have any idea what this means? It means you can absorb fire aura straight from the world at 100% efficiency. Zero waste, absolutely zero leakage. The intense reaction made him stammer out, and no. She proudly used herself as the benchmark. Even with my 80% compatibility, I still bleed 20% of the fire aura I try to absorb. And despite that, I still became a level 5 fighter and took over as the president of the Star City branch. Vo-Lam Tian leaned in uncomfortably close to Su Hong's face, a wicked smirk on her lips. But you, man, your future potential is going to completely blow mine out of the water. I seriously never imagined that a rundown backwater like Star City could birth a freak on the same level as those pampered elites from the Magic Capital or the Imperial City. Su Hong stared at the blinding red orb, thinking to himself, fire is cool and all, but I still vibe with lightning way more. Man, if only my lightning sync rate was 100% too. The second he thought that, the orb instantly flashed into a blinding golden yellow, with raw, violent lightning crackling and hissing inside it. A massive surge of electricity violently wrapped around the orb in Su Hong's hands, while Vo-Lam Tian just stood there, completely paralyzed in shock. Su Hong looked up, totally bewildered. Madam President, I think my lightning sync rate is also at 100%. Vo-Lam Tian was absolutely speechless. She grabbed her head, her face pale with mind-numbing shock. Are you kidding me? A dual-element lightning and fire user with a 100% sync rate. What kind of absolute freak of nature is this guy? He's a literal monster. Suddenly, the teenager held up the orb again. This time, it was glowing a brilliant, blinding emerald green. President, my wind compatibility looks like it's maxed out at 100% too. Vo-Lam Tian was practically screaming inside her own head. Hold the hell up, this has to be a joke, right? Fast forward a few minutes, and the room was suffocatingly dead silent. Vo-Lam Tian was slumped on the sofa like she'd just lost her soul. Burying her face in her hands, she muttered in absolute despair. This is messed up. How is this even physically possible? Every single one of them is maxed. All of them are at 100%. I've got to be hallucinating. She stood up and stared blankly out the window, looking back on her entire life's grind. I honestly thought I was a top-tier prodigy. Hitting level 5 by 30 is already insanely rare. The terrifying roar of a colossal monster echoed through her memories, blending with her dark thoughts. But standing face to face with a guy who literally shatters all the rules. That's when it hits me. I'm just painfully average. A mental image flashed a godlike warrior crashing down from the heavens to face off against a colossal beast. Boom! A mysterious silhouette, the future version of Su Hong, stood triumphantly atop the corpse of the giant Leviathan. Asterisk. And to butcher an entity that totally defies logic, you meet an absolute freak who also defies logic to match it. Asterisk. Vo Lam Tien stared deeply at Su Hong, her mind racing. Asterisk. He's an existence that normal humans could never even begin to comprehend. Asterisk. Su Hong squinted, running the numbers in his head. Asterisk. All 7 elements maxed out at 100%. If I just grind the lightning attribute and ditch the other 6, that feels like a massive waste. Ugh. What a pain in the ass. Asterisk. He looked dead straight at Vo Lam Tien and dropped a totally unhinged request. Madam President, could you just hook me up with the breathing techniques for all 7 elements? The sheer audacity of it left her completely frozen. Vo Lam Tien instantly dropped into dead serious mode. Listen to me, a person's energy pool has a hard cap. I don't care how cracked your talent is. You need to focus on just 1 or 2 elements max. Back in the day, some idiot actually tried grinding all 7 breathing techniques at once. Decades later, they were still stuck as a pathetic level 1 fighter. But Su Hong wasn't backing down. Look, I just can't make up my mind right now. So I want to test drive all of them first before I lock in my main build. Vo Lam Tien let out an exhausted sigh and finally caved. Fine, but you absolutely cannot screw around and trash your own potential. You hear me? Suddenly remembering something major, she looked at Su Hong. Wait, your high school's monthly exams are coming up soon, aren't they? He blinked in surprise. Yeah, they are. Why the sudden interest in my school exams, ma'am? Her face grew grim as she broke down the global situation. Lately, the skirmishes on the alien race's battlefield have been getting extremely violent. An all-out war between the alien races and humanity could literally explode at any second. Because of that, every country on the planet is burning through their resources to set up hardcore genius training camps. I want to personally recommend you for one of those camps. Vo Lam Tien laid out her terms. If you can crush your school's monthly exams and take the #1 spot, I guarantee I'll secure a recommendation slot for you. Su Hong muttered to himself. Alien war. A genius training camp? As flashes of his tragic past ripped through his mind, his eyes hardened with unbreakable resolve. Asterisk. Over 10 years ago, during the last major alien invasion, I lost my entire family. Uncle and auntie were the only ones left to take me in as a kid. Asterisk. All right, I'll give it everything I've got. A tidal wave of ironclad determination surged through his chest. Asterisk. Uncle, auntie, I swear to God, I am never letting that nightmare happen again. Asterisk. Asterisk. I have to get stronger. I have to protect everyone I care about. Asterisk. Later that night, at Su Hong's place, a warm, flickering yellow light poured out from the windows of his family's beat-up old apartment. Su Hong happily showed the certificate card to his relatives. Uncle, auntie, I'm officially a martial artist now. His uncle's hands trembled, holding the card, while his aunt burst into tears of joy. Little Hong, you did it. This is amazing. Our little Hong actually made it. He's so talented. He excitedly laid out a new future for his family. A level 1 martial artist gets a monthly allowance of 10,000 yuan. From now on, you won't have to work yourself to death anymore, uncle. His uncle wiped his tears and smiled back. All right. Little Hong is the man of the house now. We'll listen to whatever you say. Su Hong looked at his uncle and aunt with warm, responsible eyes. Don't worry about a thing. From today on, I'm gonna carry this family. Midnight, alone on the rooftop, Su Hong sat in meditation, surrounded by a blazing aura of fire. Whoosh! His eyes glowed a fierce orange, the powerful flames tearing right through the dark night. He jumped up, channeled fire energy into his fist, and threw a massive punch that sent out shockwaves. Boom! Su Hong looked at his smoking fist, completely skeptical and disappointed. He wondered in disbelief. Wait, is this seriously what they call mastering the channeling technique? It feels weak as hell. He immediately opened his system panel to check. A channeling technique slot had popped up on the board. Looks like I actually learned it. Sky Flame Channeling Art, Level 1, 5%. Staring closely at the status bar, Su Hong was shocked to spot something weird. Level 1? So channeling techniques can level up too. President Vu never said a word about levels. If there were levels, she definitely would have told me. A crazy theory popped into his head, making him yell out in pure hype. Don't tell me. I'm the only one who can level up these techniques? Su Hong stared hard at the virtual system panel in front of him, deep in thought. But how exactly do I level them up? Do they use martial points like other skills? Instantly, a glowing red warning panel popped up, saying his martial points were insufficient. He clicked his tongue in annoyance. Whatever, screw it. I'll focus on maxing out the other channeling techniques first. I'll figure out how to grind more martial points later. Without wasting a second, Su Hong closed his eyes and entered meditation. The fiery aura around him erupted, as if trying to burn down the entire night. After hours of brutal training, his silhouette appeared amidst a chaotic web of energy, displaying his milestones. Level 1 lightning, level 1 water, level 1 earth, and level 1 wind. But he frowned, clearly feeling the violent rejection between the 7 different types of spiritual energy. Sweat dripped down his tense face. Su Hong gritted his teeth and muttered, No wonder President Vu said geniuses who trained all 7 elements got stuck at level 1 for decades. He raised his hand. A small flame danced in his palm, but his eyes were heavy with thought. Even though all 7 elemental energies are inside me, I can only use one at a time right now. What if I force a second element out at the exact same time? A reckless gleam flashed in Su Hong's eyes as the flame in his hand flared up violently. The second the other energy appeared, a small explosion popped right in his palm. He bitterly realized that the 2 elements clashed hard, and then both just completely vanished. Refusing to give up, he stared intently at the sparks and flames flickering around him. Lightning and fire are pretty similar by nature. Is it seriously impossible to merge them? Electricity and fire fiercely clashed in Su Hong's palm once again, throwing off blinding sparks, but they still wouldn't fuse together. Ignoring the constant explosions echoing on the roof all night, he roared with absolute stubbornness. Damn it, again. One more time. Time flew by in a flash. The starry night slowly gave way to the first rays of morning as dawn broke. Su Hong's face was drenched in sweat, his breathing heavy, but his eyes burned with fierce resolve. Just a little more. Just a tiny bit more. He poured in every ounce of his strength, bracing himself amidst the chaotic energy vortex, and screamed, "Screw this, fuse already." In that do-or-die moment, the fire and lightning suddenly twisted together. He roared, "Fuse!" Looking at the glowing orb of energy that just formed in his hand, Su Hong let out a relieved smile. Even though I'm totally drained, after wrestling with this all night, I finally pulled it off. He sprang to his feet on the rooftop, oozing confidence with the sunrise at his back. Time to go test out this power. His destination was Star City's public martial arts square, home to the most advanced testing gear. Standing in front of a massive power measuring machine, Su Hong muttered his calculations. I purposely picked a level 3 combat power tester this time. It shouldn't break as easily as the other ones, right? He threw a flaming punch right at the center of the machine, comparing it in his head. Last time, using 50% power got me 3,000 combat points. Let's try 30% this time. The number on the screen skyrocketed, leaving him dumbfounded. It actually broke past 2,300. 30% power should have only been around 1,800, but it jumped by a whole 500 points. Su Hong stared at his fist, still crackling with lightning and fire, and gasped in shock. Is pure lightning power really this insane? A bold idea sparked in his mind. He took his stance again, this time with the mixed energy. So, what about the power of fused lightning and fire? He threw a full-force punch. The energy exploded so violently that a massive halo of light swallowed the entire machine. When the dust cleared, Su Hong stared blankly at the screen displaying the number, 3,041. Huh? It smashed right through the 3,000 mark. He looked at his hand in absolute shock, while the machine in front of him was still smoking. Just physical strength mixed with fused lightning and fire at 30% power already beats a late-stage level 1 martial artist, and my vitality stat is only at 123 right now. This is freaking terrifying. An epic vision flashed in his mind, the combination of all 7 lights, and this was just merging 2 elements. Su Hong smirked with wild ambition, looking at the tiny electric spark in his hand. If I can fuse all 7, just how insanely overpowered would that be? That night, he collapsed onto the rooftop, staring up at the vast starry sky while tiny specks of spiritual aura still floated around him. His face was clearly exhausted, but he couldn't hide his competitive drive. He sighed, I came back home to try merging 3 elements, but the difficulty just went up exponentially. I tried every possible combo between these 7 elements dozens of times, but it always ends in a fat 0. Su Hong stared at the virtual system panel with calculating eyes. I wonder, would leveling up the channeling techniques help me fuse them successfully? The monthly exam is tomorrow. I had better grind as many martial points as I can. The next morning, the vibe at Star City's #1 high school was crazier than ever, with cheers echoing all over the stadium. Up on the VIP stands, the principal proudly announced that this monthly exam would be completely different from before. With the front lines getting more intense by the day, from now on, annual training camps will be held to scout and deeply train our top geniuses. He kept hyping up the crowd with massive rewards. The training camp will provide endless resources. Not just a ton of martial arts techniques and elixirs, but actual grandmasters as instructors. The top 3 students in this monthly exam will qualify for the Star City training camp. The crowd below instantly exploded in pure hype. Holy crap, a genius training camp? I absolutely have to win. While the crowd went wild, Su Hong stayed pretty chill, looking a bit confused. The instructors are level 7 grandmasters, when our principal is only a level 3. But wait, why did Miss Vu say only the top spot gets a ticket? Didn't he just say the top 3? The friend next to him leaned in, looking stressed. Chen Shan and Li Duo have both become level 1 martial artists already. A bunch of others also mastered the basics of the rushing Thunder Fist. We don't stand a chance against them. Su Hong thought, I've only been out of school for 10 days, and they have already broken through to martial artists? His friend kept updating him, looking totally overwhelmed. Over the last few days, the principal invited senior Chen Tian back to give extra lessons on the rushing Thunder Fist to the talented kids. Chen Shan and Li Duo smashed past the 100 vitality points mark days ago. The rushing Thunder Fist can already trigger 3 resonances. The 2 heavyweights showed up, radiating absolute arrogance. This time, I am gonna show everyone who the real #1 genius is. I hope you keep that same energy after I beat your ass. Up in the stands, the principal sighed softly while chatting with his colleague, Old Li. Still haven't found that genius with the 9-layer resonance of the rushing Thunder Fist. I've looked everywhere, but there's absolutely no trace of him. Maybe that kid isn't even from our school. Suddenly, a group of strangers walked in, causing the principal to gasp in surprise. Humph! A smug middle-aged man walked over and teased, "Oh, Old Li, why do you look like your wife just dumped you?" Principal Li snapped back angrily, while the other guy just kept smirking casually. "Jiang Ming, what the hell are you doing barging into my school? Old buddy, the quality of your students this year is looking pretty trash. Huh. I brought 2 of my disciples over after their monthly exams. How about we let your top students spar with them for a bit?" The principal gritted his teeth, weighing his options with an incredibly tense expression. Damn it, this bastard is clearly here to humiliate me. But if I back down, it's like admitting our whole school doesn't have a single talented kid. Jiang Ming kept pushing his buttons, making the atmosphere completely suffocating. Of course, if your roster really is that garbage, I totally get it if you refuse. You bastard, are you picking a fight on purpose? Suddenly, Jiang Ming's purple-haired student turned completely pale and pointed into the crowd. "Master, we're screwed. Look over there, it's that kid, Su Hong." "Su Hong?" Jiang Ming stared blankly, searching through the crowd of students. "Which Su Hong?" The moment he saw the confident smirk of the young man walking by, he froze. "It's that little monster." Beads of sweat started rolling down the arrogant master's forehead. That punk is actually a student at school #1? Jiang Ming and his 2 disciples all broke into a cold sweat, their moods plummeting to rock bottom. Damn it. If Li Yan or Li Ming run into him, they stand absolutely 0 chance of winning. Rather than losing face later, Jiang Ming instantly changed his tune, waving his hands frantically with an awkward smile. "Old Li, Old Tran, don't get mad. I was just messing around. There's no need to spar. How could my 2 trash disciples ever compare to your students?" Yeah, we forfeit." The principal and teachers of school #1 stared after them in disbelief, their faces flushing red with anger. Do these punks really have the nerve to mock us so sarcastically? This is crossing the line. The loudspeaker echoed throughout the arena, cutting off all arguments. Match 665, Chen Peng versus number 66, Su Hong, begins now. Down by the arena, Su Hong's friends couldn't help but warn him anxiously. "Old Su, your very first opponent is already a quasi-martial artist. Talk about awful luck. Su Hong, just do your best, man. Don't push yourself too hard. Getting injured isn't worth it." His opponent, Chen Peng, stepped out with an arrogant sneer, taking an offensive stance. He channeled his energy as he spoke, his veiny hands clenching menacingly. "Are you gonna walk off yourself, or do I have to beat you until you crawl out of here?" Without giving his opponent a single second to react, Su Hong unleashed a lightning-fast punch that sent the guy launching into the air like a baseball. He stood tall in the middle of the ring with a deadpan expression, while Chen Peng plummeted to the ground in a pathetic freefall. The entire stadium fell dead silent for a split second before shocked gasps and whispers erupted. Holy crap, since when did Su Hong get so savage? Amidst the thick dust, Su Hong's imposing silhouette emerged, making everyone shiver. Did he seriously just one-shot a quasi-martial artist? Su Hong stood tall and proud after his victory. As the audience gossiped in absolute awe, Su Hong won again. How the hell is he this strong? He's definitely reached the level of a stage 1 martial artist by now. The next match was the grand finale. Up in the stands, Senior Chen Tian and Principal Li looked down in complete bewilderment. Where on earth did this Su Hong kid even come from? He hasn't taken a single extra class with me. It's entirely my fault for being so slacking as a teacher. Principal Li blamed himself for missing such a prime talent, while Chen Tian narrowed his eyes in deep thought. How the hell did I not notice a perfect prospect like this sooner? I swear I've seen this kid somewhere before, but I just can't put my finger on it. Meanwhile, the semi-final match between the 2 top seeds was entering its final phase. The semi-final between Chen Shan and Li Tu should be wrapping up right about now. The 2 fighters clashed at blinding speeds, setting off a chain of shockwaves from their impacts. Their power levels are pretty neck and neck. It's super hard to tell who's gonna take the W. Li Tu dropped into a stance and roared with pure adrenaline. "Chen Shan, both of us have already reached the 3-layer resonance of the rushing Thunder Fist. If you don't bust out your trump card, don't even dream of taking me down." A thunderous punch was thrown, the surrounding air literally tearing apart from the massive pressure of Li Tu's strike. The crowd below went wide-eyed as they witnessed the energy shift on the stage. His elemental energy, it's been externalized. Did Chen Shan seriously figure out how to externalize his element? That's the fire attribute. Its destructive power is second only to the lightning type. However, Li Tu just gave a cocky smirk, his hands slowly getting engulfed by a sharp, icy blue light. Externalizing your element, please. Literally anyone can do that. The crowd's faces shifted once again in pure shock. Li Tu can do it too, and that's the metal attribute. Its piercing power is even deadlier than fire in actual combat. Instantly, Li Tu shot forward like a silver arrow, the metal energy wrapping around his fist morphing into highly destructive energy chains. And on top of that, I can do this. He channeled everything into one final strike with blazing eyes, rushing thunder fist, 5-layer resonance. The two blasts of energy clashed violently, setting off deafening explosions that rocked the whole arena. However, Chen Shan couldn't handle the sheer pressure, taking a barrage of brutal hits to his body. Witnessing this top-tier performance, Senior Chen Tian didn't hold back his praise. Rushing thunder fist, 5-layer resonance. Turns out Li Tu has been hiding his true power this whole time. In just over 10 days, he didn't just master elemental externalization, but he even reached such an elite level with the rushing thunder fist. Li Tu's talent is seriously off the charts. Principal Li let out a heavy sigh of regret as he thought about the upcoming finals. Well, we don't even need to watch the finals to know how it ends. With the 5-layer resonance of the rushing thunder fist stacked with the metal attribute, Su Hong has absolutely zero chance against Li Tu. Such a bummer. If Su Hong had a channeling technique and actually knew the rushing thunder fist, he might have had a shot. Right at that moment, a strange man sitting nearby suddenly spoke up and laid down a challenge. Old Li, old Tran, I bet 50,000 yuan that Su Hong takes first place. You guys got the guts to take that bet? Are you out of your freaking mind? Su Hong is impressive and all, but without a channeling technique, how the hell is he supposed to win? Fine, since you want to hand out free cash, I'll take that bet. The loudspeaker buzzed, signaling the most hype match of the day. The grand finale, number 1, Li Tu versus number 66, Su Hong, begins now. Li Tu, lock in. Don't embarrass us. Let's go, Su Hong. Take the crown, man. Li Tu stepped into the arena with an arrogant smirk, looking at Su Hong like he was doing him a favor. You're seriously lucky, you know, because you didn't bump into me or Chen Shan earlier. You actually managed to crawl your way into these finals. Su Hong casually cracked his wrists, his eyes turning sharp and amused. After hunting down so many savage beasts, these high schoolers feel way too damn weak. Finally, a guy who's actually worth my time. Li Tu kept running his mouth about the rankings. Just making it to this final match means you get to call yourself the second strongest guy in school. Meanwhile, Su Hong just calmly fired back. Then who's number 1? Me, obviously. Without even letting his opponent finish, Li Tu blitzed forward in a flash. He unleashed a devastating strike with all his energy chains wrapped around it, aiming to end the match right then and there. Just this one move will make you realize how massive the gap between us really is. The audience up in the stands screamed in panic when they saw that Su Hong wasn't even trying to dodge. Holy crap, he's opening with the 5-layer resonance of the rushing thunder fist right off the bat. He's going all out, it's over. Once that rushing thunder fist lands, Su Hong is absolutely cooked. In that split second, Su Hong's eyes suddenly flared with a mysterious, blazing orange light. He smirked, a massive surge of fire energy gathering right in his fist. Perfect timing. I was actually dying to test just how far my physical limits can go. The crowd completely panicked, screaming for the referee to step in because of Su Hong's sheer recklessness. Even if the guy has a death wish, he shouldn't be doing this. Ref, save him, quick. Is Su Hong out of his damn mind? He's not even dodging, he's going head-to-head with his bare fists. The two fists collided, sparking off a chain of deafening explosions. Dust kicked up everywhere, completely blocking out the ring. A clash of pure physical brute strength broke out. The heavy impact of their fists sent massive shockwaves ripping across the arena. Li Tu's eyes nearly popped out of his head when he saw his attack get effortlessly swatted away. Did he seriously just counter my 5-stack thunder fist with 5 normal punches? Not giving the guy a single second to breathe, Su Hong unleashed a lightning-fast flurry of strikes, forcing Li Tu to just grit his teeth and take the beating. The crushing pressure from those hits left Li Tu gasping for air in agonizing pain. This freak, every single one of his punches hits like a damn truck. The crowd went absolutely nuts, completely blown away by what they were seeing. Su Hong wasn't even using a single martial arts technique, yet he was going toe-to-toe with Li Tu. Even against a 5-stack thunder fist, Su Hong's raw physical power was just straight-up terrifying. Principal Li leaped out of his seat in pure hype, while Chen Tian started putting the pieces together. He has to have some kind of special physique. There's no other way his brute strength could be this insanely overpowered. Ha ha ha, did my school really just produce a once-in-a-lifetime genius with a special physique? But Chen Tian still kept his guard up as he watched the ring. Su Hong's raw power is mind-blowing, but Li Tu has already manifested his elemental attribute. Su Hong doesn't really have the upper hand yet. A massive impact sent them both skidding backward, leaving deep trenches across the arena floor. Li Tu completely lost it, his entire body erupting in a blinding, crackling lightning aura. Su Hong, wipe that smug look off your face. The only one walking out of here as the winner is me. He charged in for one final, desperate all-or-nothing strike. Stay down. Su Hong just stared back at him, looking painfully disappointed. I just wanted to see how far my raw physical strength would get me against this guy. But the dude couldn't even handle that and blew his ultimate move right off the bat. A blinding surge of golden lightning instantly wrapped around Su-hong's arm, radiating a power purer and more destructive than anything else. Since you went ahead and showed me everything you've got, it's only fair I return the favor, right? With that, he cocked back his lightning-infused fist and lunged forward. Li Tu's eyes widened in sheer terror, cold sweat drenching his face as he stared at that violently surging electricity. You can project your elemental attribute too? Up in the VIP stands, the two elders were so shaken they sprang right out of their seats, stammering out of their minds. What the? How? How the hell is this even possible? Oh my god. Principal Li's jaw practically hit the floor, while Chen Tian was visibly shaking as he tried to process it. That lightning attribute. Su-hong has actually mastered elemental lightning manipulation, a special physique stacked with the absolute strongest offensive element. This kid's talent is just flat-out monstrous. The blazing metal and lightning energies violently slammed into each other dead center of the ring, sparking a blinding flash that completely swallowed them both. Li Tu gritted his teeth, desperately trying to hold his ground against the crushing pressure. His lightning element is actually overpowering my metal element. As for Su-hong, he just flashed an arrogant, mocking smirk, his cold eyes locking onto his rapidly fading opponent. You already showed me your little trump card. He channeled every ounce of his spiritual energy into his fist, letting out a massive roar as he unleashed the final blow, making the very air vibrate. Now get a load of mine. Thunder Fist. A devastating explosion of raw energy ripped through the arena. The brutal burst of lightning blasted Li Tu backward like a damn ragdoll. He crashed hard onto the arena floor, coughing up a mouthful of blood, his glassy eyes staring up in absolute disbelief. 9 stacks of resonance? How the hell is that even possible? As the smoke and dust finally cleared, Su-hong stood tall like an absolute god of war. Right at his feet laid his completely unconscious opponent, and the entire arena instantly dropped into a dead, chilling silence. Nobody could even process what they had just witnessed. Then, the sheer shockwave of realization shattered the silence, erupting into a deafening roar of insane cheering. A 9-stack Thunder Fist. He actually hit the realm of absolute perfection. Is this for real? Did my man Su-hong actually just win? This is insane. Su-hong's Thunder Fist is even more savage than the teacher who taught us the damn move. Chen Tian clutched his head, violently trembling as the shocking truth finally hit him. 9 stacks of resonance. He's the mystery genius who vanished from the training hall that day. This kid isn't just a prodigy. He is the absolute apex predator of Star City's first high school. The elder's eyes sparkled with wild anticipation as he thought about what was to come. If a total monster like him drops into that training camp, all those pampered, filthy rich prodigies are in for one hell of a brutal reality check. Watching Su-hong casually walk out of the arena, Principal Li sighed with immense pride. A golden koi was never meant for a shallow pond. Once it meets the storm, it will soar as a dragon. For a kid like Su-hong, our tiny little Star City is nothing more than a shallow puddle. He stared off, dreaming of the massive, world-stage battlegrounds that were waiting for his student. In this training camp, Su-hong is destined to be reborn and skyrocket straight into the heavens. The demon metropolis, the imperial capital, hell, maybe even the myriad races battlefield. That's where a true monster like him is meant to flex his power. As the sunset fell, painting the rundown streets in a deep orange glow, Su-hong pushed open his front door, his voice warm and totally relaxed. Uncle, Auntie, I'm home. His uncle, busy setting up the dinner table, quickly looked up with a caring smile. Little Hong, you're back? How did the exams go today, kiddo? Su-hong grinned. I got first place. His uncle froze for a second before bursting into a proud smile, giving his nephew a heavy pat on the shoulder. First place? Good lord, you took the top spot in the monthly exams? Does that mean you actually get to go to that elite training camp? Su-hong nodded. I sure do. Right in the middle of their celebration, a rapid, obnoxious pounding on the door shattered the happy vibe. Bang, bang, bang. A woman dripped in designer clothes, reeking of pure arrogance, stood glaring at the doorway and snapped. Hey, is this the Su family house? Su-hong stepped up to open the door, his guard instantly up. Who are you? The woman tilted her chin up haughtily, digging around in her fancy purse as she spoke with total condescension. You're Su-hong, aren't you? I'm the mother of your classmate, Lin Nian. Your school is sending the top 3 students from the monthly exams to the training camp. My son ranked 4th. I'm here to have you hand your spot over to him. She casually yanked out a thick stack of cash, shoving it towards Su-hong with a look of pure disgust. Here, 30,000 yuan. I'm paying you 30,000 yuan to drop out and give that spot to my Lin Nian. Su-hong and his family just stared dead at this unbelievably snobby woman, absolutely speechless. Pissed off by their silence, she immediately started raising her voice and making threats. What the hell is with that attitude? That training camp was built to forge soldiers for the myriad races battlefield. The competition in there is a total bloodbath. Kids like you could literally drop dead in an instant, she sneered, eyeing their rundown, shabby little house before tossing out another insult. The kids in there pop high-grade spiritual elixirs like they're damn candy and train in top-tier martial arts like it's absolutely nothing. With your pathetic family background, tossing out your spot early is me doing you a massive favor." Hearing the words drop dead, his aunt went completely pale, terrified as she grabbed onto Su Hong's arm. "Little Hong, is what she's saying true? Is it really that dangerous over there?" His uncle quickly stepped in to calm his wife, even though his own face was plastered with worry. "Alan, calm down, honey." He looked dead into Su Hong's eyes, his voice shaking but dead serious. "Little Hong, can you promise your uncle that you'll make sure you come back in one piece?" Facing his family's desperate concern, Su Hong stared right back at his uncle, his eyes absolutely unwavering, and gave a single, solid answer. "I promise." Seeing this, Lin Nian's mother tried to butt back in, but the uncle completely shut her down, his face suddenly radiating pure, unshakable pride. "Oh, please, are you seriously going to buy the empty promises of a little kid? Damn right I am. Going to that training camp is his choice to make. He's a grown man now, and I trust him to keep his word. Besides, if I can't even trust my own flesh and blood, why the hell would I trust you?" That completely choked the arrogant woman up. Before she could spit out another toxic insult, Su Hong slammed the door right in her face, tossing out one final, freezing cold warning. "Get the hell off my property." Stranded out in the hallway, she shrieked at the top of her lungs in pure, helpless rage. "What is wrong with you trashy people? You just wait. You're gonna get totally crushed and kicked out of that camp anyway." Once the house finally quieted down, Su Hong turned back to his uncle, guilt completely washing over his face for scaring his family. "Uncle, I really didn't mean to keep you in the dark about how dangerous it is." But his uncle just gently cut him off. "It's totally fine, kiddo." He flashed a huge, beaming smile, shooting the young man a massive thumbs up. "I'm just a rough, blue-collar guy. You're the smart one with the big education, so you definitely know a hell of a lot more about this training camp stuff than I do. Once you're dead set on facing these challenges, we've got your back all the way, kiddo." Seeing her husband rambling on, the aunt gave his back a sharp smack that made him jump. "What the heck are you saying? Hong, listen to me. We don't give a damn about rankings. Just make sure you come back to us in one piece, okay?" Feeling the warmth of his family, Su Hong flashed a bright smile, his eyes sparkling with pure joy. "I got it." As the dead of night settled in, the city lights began to dazzle beneath the vast, starry sky. Standing alone on the rooftop, Su Hong stared out at the horizon, absolutely dead set on his goal. "My aunt and uncle are backing me up, but I know they're worried sick. I absolutely can't let them down. To protect this peaceful life we barely scraped together, I have to get way freaking stronger." He pulled up the system panel, lightly tapping the virtual screen to check his progress. "I grinded through over a dozen matches in the tournament and bagged a total of 285 martial arts points. Man, that's still nowhere near enough." His gaze locked onto his physical stats, his face deep in thought. Who knows what kind of high-tier martial arts or sick trump cards those so-called geniuses at the boot camp are hiding. To stand a chance against them, I need to max out my physical strength first. Su Hong started channeling his energy, his entire body trembling violently as the system endlessly spammed notifications, bumping up his mortal body stat by 0.1% at a time. Sweating buckets, he panted heavily while staring at the new number. He was still 35.4% away from hitting the max 100%. "I wonder what kind of insane physique I'll unlock once I break past the mortal stage." Glancing further down, he froze in shock seeing his two channeling arts had changed. What the? When the hell did the heavenly flame and rushing thunder channeling arts hit level 2? He tried to piece everything together, his face plastered with sheer disbelief. "These past few days, I've literally just been grinding the channeling arts and doing nothing else. Does that mean there are zero hidden requirements? Just normal, hardcore grinding is enough to level them up?" To test his theory, he threw his hands out, summoning two intense surges of fire and lightning energy. "If that's the case, I'm pushing these bad boys to the next level tonight." Time flew by, and the crack of dawn began to peek out from behind the skyscrapers. Su Hong's eyes snapped open, sharp as a knife and totally pumped up after an entire night of non-stop, hardcore training. He sat cross-legged, bolts of lightning and roaring flames twisting together right in the palm of his hand, just as the system chimed in to announce that both channeling arts had officially hit level 3. Staring at the updated status board, a smug smirk crept onto his face. Not only did his channeling arts level up, but his vitality also got bumped up by 3 points. Talk about a sick bonus. Later that morning, down in the lobby of their rundown apartment building, his aunt nervously fussed over him as he grabbed his bags. "Stay safe out there, kiddo. If things get too sketchy, you pack up and march right back home to us, you hear?" His uncle, standing right beside her, threw an arm around his wife and let out a hearty laugh, though his eyes were completely red. "Stop jinxing the boy. Hong, you march into that boot camp and drag that number 1 spot right back here for me. Loud and clear. I'm off, guys." Su Hong waved goodbye and headed out, leaving behind his uncle, who was literally trembling with emotion at watching his favorite nephew leave. Catching him stealthily, wiping away a tear, the aunt immediately started teasing him. "Oh, look at you. You're freaking out just as much as I am. I just said that so the kid wouldn't stress out. Meanwhile, Su-hong was already striding down the bustling streets, the long weapon slung over his shoulder, drawing more than a few stares from the crowd. Mid-stride, he suddenly froze, his eyes narrowing on high alert as the aggressive roar of an engine ripped through the air right behind him. A bright red convertible supercar came tearing down the street at breakneck speed, slamming its brakes right next to him with a massive, tire-burning screech. The door popped open, and Wu Lingxian stepped out looking incredibly badass behind her shades, dropping a totally non-negotiable order: get in. The ride blasted down the highway, rocketing Su-hong straight toward the Genius boot camp, where the actual hardcore trials were waiting to tear him apart. The blood-red convertible tore up the highway, leaving massive trails of white smoke in its wake. Chilling in the passenger seat, Su-hong threw a curious glance at the woman behind the wheel. "President, did you track me down just to give me a pep talk or something?" Wu Lingxian kept her eyes glued to the road, her face dead serious behind those dark shades. "About this boot camp, there are a few things I need to warn you about. As the president of the Martial Arts Association, I've got backdoor access to the files of some of the guys competing." She dropped her voice, spilling some seriously wild intel. "From what I've seen, there are a few absolute monsters in this batch who have already hit the late stage of level 1. They're inches away from breaking into level 2. Wu Lingxian gave a slight smirk, hyping up just how brutal this game was going to be. A couple of them are complete freaks of nature. Even the most trash-tier martial arts they use are already at B rank. Su-hong narrowed his eyes, running the numbers while staying totally chill. A level 2 martial artist needs 200 vitality points. There's actually someone in this batch already knocking on that door. Still, B-rank martial arts ain't enough to scare me, not with my system space. I can speed run learning B-rank skills like it's nothing." Wu Lingxian shot a glance at her student, her tone softening up a bit to reassure him. "Su-hong, your raw talent is literally the most insane I've ever seen, bar none. But unlike those rich kids, you don't have a bottomless pit of resources backing you up. So, if you end up taking an L at this boot camp, do not let it mess with your head. With your god-tier potential, crushing them eventually is just a matter of time." The young guy just flashed a faint smile, his eyes fixed on the distant horizon. "I hear ya. Thanks, boss." Wu Lingxian was secretly blown away by how rock-solid he was. He knew damn well his vitality and skills were totally outmatched, yet he didn't even flinch. Guess I don't need to stress about this kid having a mental breakdown after all. The ride finally crossed into the epic territory of the Tianlin mountain range, where massive peaks pierce straight through the thick clouds. Over in one of the passenger buses, the rest of the students were absolutely freaking out. "Wait, what? The boot camp is seriously in the middle of the Tianlin Mountains. This place is crawling with freaking monsters. Hey, chill out. We've got a grandmaster keeping an eye on the camp, so you guys aren't gonna die." Sitting quietly in his ride, Su-hong mentally calculated just how lethal this hellhole really was. The Tianlin mountain range was a colossal stretch of peaks that ripped right through Star City, Yang City, and a bunch of other zones. Not only was the spiritual energy here insanely thick and the monster count off the charts, but deep in the core, there were literal beast kings that could go toe-to-toe with a level 7 grandmaster. The mental image of a monstrous tiger brutally shredding its prey to pieces flashed by, proving just how savage this place was. The turf wars between the beasts out here were absolutely bloodthirsty. Even the trash tier, level 1 monsters lurking on the outskirts roaring like maniacs with their blood-red eyes were way more hyper-aggressive than the ones anywhere else. An average level 2 martial artist wouldn't even dare to casually waltz into this meat grinder. The black transport bus packed with students hauled ass down a dirt trail cutting right through the gloomy, ancient forest. From the pitch-black shadows of the dense brush, a swarm of bloodshot eyes locked onto the convoy, staring at them like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Pure panic started to spread through the bus. "Dude, why does it feel like there's something out there staring right at us? Are we gonna get ambushed by a pack of monsters or what?" Su-hong just clenched his fists, a wild thrill flashing in his eyes. The competition at this boot camp is probably gonna be just as cutthroat as these beasts tearing each other apart. Man, I must be losing my mind, cause I'm seriously starting to love this rush. Finally, the convoy rolled to a stop at a rugged field outpost, dead in the middle of a desolate valley. Piling out of the bus, the kids from Star High immediately started sizing up their competition. "Hey, I wonder just how tough these guys really are." But what they saw completely floored them. Top-tier geniuses from all over the place, flexing insanely arrogant attitudes, and dripping in ultra-high-end gear. Su-hong's crew could only stand there in dead silence, totally crushed by the invisible pressure radiating from the crowd. Su-hong, however, kept his face completely ice-cold, his sharp eyes tracking every single micro-movement the opposition made. Slugging his long spear over his shoulder, he took the lead and barked out, "Let's move." The student next to him snapped out of it. "Oh, right, got it." Just then, an examiner threw up a hand, signaling for everyone to herd up in a designated zone. A stern-looking instructor sporting a goatee projected his voice over the crowd. "We are holding position right here until every last candidate has arrived. Once we have a full head count, the entrance exam begins." "Wait, what? There's a freaking entrance exam too?" Suddenly, The crowd blew up as an insanely flashy aura crashed the scene. They're here. Damn it. Just cause they're from some elite mega family makes them so damn special that they get to make all of us wait on them. A stupidly expensive convoy, fully decked out with Rolls Royces and top-tier off-road beasts, came roaring into the clearing, kicking up a massive cloud of dust. Guys in slick black suits scrambled out instantly, bowing low as they opened the doors for the spoiled young masters and princesses of the elite class. The top 3 prodigies showed up, soaking in the massive hype from the crowd. Damn, Goddess Tu Yen is so freaking gorgeous and badass. Being a spirit awakener is just top tier. This dump? Talk about ghetto. That's Lin Xinghe from the Lam family. Word is he's about to hit level 2, but man, what a massive show-off. Let's go. The mayor of Man City's son, Wang Tiantuo, is here too. 95% fire affinity and a special physique. The genius trio flexed their way through the crowd like absolute rock stars, not giving a single crap about the nobodies around them. Su Hong's crew stood off to the side, feeling the brutal class divide right from the jump. Su Hong just smirked, a challenging glint in his eyes. So those 3 are the top-tier prodigies from Star City, the chairman was hyping up. Let's see just how genius you guys really are. Once everyone was huddled up, the instructor grabbed his clipboard and barked out, "Since you're all here, I'm laying down the rules for the entrance exam right now." He pointed straight at the massive, dense forest up ahead. The training camp is dead inside the Thian Lam mountain range, exactly 30 kilometers from this outpost. A badass, ancient-looking token flashed on the projection screen. We surgically implanted these tokens inside the bodies of specific monster beasts. You need to get your hands on a token to even step foot in the camp. The students instantly started freaking out over how insane the difficulty was. 30 kilometers in 8 hours sounds like a breeze, but bro, this is the Thian Lam Mountains. Once we're deep in those mountains, who the hell knows what high-level monsters we'll run into? We could literally die. But totally opposite to the terrified crowd, Su Hong was getting seriously hyped about his own little plan. Just get there in 8 hours? Is it really that basic? Then I've got a ton of time to hunt down extra monsters and farm some serious martial arts points. A student nervously shot his hand up and asked, "What if we run into a beast that's way out of our league?" The instructor shot back with zero chill. "Then sucks to be you, you're eliminated. Though, we'll send someone to drag your sorry butts out alive." The crowd instantly blew up, whining and complaining. That's total BS. A strong guy could get knocked out while some weakling slips through just on pure luck. Yeah, this whole thing relies way too much on pure luck. The instructor glared down at the complaining brats with dead eyes. Not fair? Wake up, kids. The real world isn't some dumb little playground. If you grind for 10 years, only to step onto the cosmic battlefield and get one-shotted by some random passing expert, are you gonna cry about it not being fair then? He stared daggers into the crowd, warning them, if you don't want to get slaughtered by high-level beasts, then play it smart and dodge the risks. The strong crush the weak, and the many swarm the few. Those are the absolute laws of the battlefield. A snobby guy in a slick suit smirked and backed him up. He's totally right. If you're scared of dying, just quit now so you don't waste our time. Whining about every little thing. What a bunch of trash. A dude with a backpack furiously pointed a finger right in his face and snapped. "Say that to my face again. I freaking dare you." The suit guy didn't even flinch. "You're a gutless coward and absolute garbage. You got a problem with that? Come at me, and I'll completely ruin you." The instructor just checked his clipboard and casually dropped another bomb. Fighting inside the base camp is strictly prohibited, but once you're in the mountains, we won't step in at all. Whether you're jacking someone's token or you just want to beat a kid down because you hate his ugly mug, go crazy. Hearing that, the suit guy and the backpack dude locked eyes, sparking with pure killing intent like a literal lightning storm. Su Hong, resting his weapon on his shoulder, thought to himself, "Damn, this training camp is savage. They're literally begging us to slaughter each other. With these rules, I bet way more than half the roster gets wiped out." But wait a sec, he scanned the massive crowd around him. A crazy idea clicking in his head. If I just start throwing hands with all these guys, wouldn't I farm an insane amount of martial arts points? Out of nowhere, the instructor slammed the timer on his watch and roared, "All right, enough yapping. The exam officially starts now. Get the hell out of here." The students instantly stampeded toward the tree line, screaming their heads off. "Let's go. I'm passing this, no matter what. Stop shoving. Man, get out of my way." The scene cuts deep into the forest, where 2 blurry figures were hauling ass through the massive, ancient trees. The backpack dude was right on the suit guy's heels, roaring at the top of his lungs. "Get back here. I'm sending your rich ass packing right now. If you want to get booted this early, I'll gladly grant your wish." Not backing down for a second, the backpack guy spun around, throwing a wildly blazing punch as he screamed, "You're freaking dead meat, rah." The suit guy instantly fired back, swinging a fist glowing with heavy blue energy. The 2 elemental fists slammed into each other, blasting out a massive shockwave that ripped the branches and leaves right off the trees. They immediately launched at each other, trading a brutal, lightning-fast flurry of hits. The suit guy finally landed a crushing blow. The backpack dude couldn't block it in time and got launched flying backward. Meanwhile, Su Hong was just chilling up on a high branch watching the whole thing, resting his chin in his hand, looking completely unimpressed. I totally thought I'd use this chance to see what these so-called geniuses were made of, but this is it. Not even close to the hype. Even if I stomp these guys, I doubt they'll drop that many martial arts points. With that thought, he casually turned his back, ready to ditch them for some bigger fish. Whatever. I'm better off using my time to hunt down some high-level beasts instead. But then, the rich snob's overly arrogant voice echoed out as he pinned the other guy's arm. Trash will always be trash. What's the point of you even trying to train? You really thought you could beat generations of my family's pure wealth and resources? The guy on the ground ground his teeth in pure rage. Shut the hell up. Don't you dare lump me in with those low-class peasants. Hearing the words low-class and trash, Su Hong's footsteps instantly stopped dead in their tracks. Those filthy insults echoed on a loop in his head, making the air around him instantly drop 10 degrees. Out of nowhere, Su Hong's lips curled into a downright vicious smirk, his eyes turning cold as ice. Looks like I can't just let this huge pile of free points walk away. He cracked his knuckles. You see, sometimes us poor kids have our own special way of collecting debts. He casually strolled right out of the shadows, walking straight up to the two guys brawling, and dropped a totally chill, "Yo, break it up." Su Hong had this massive, dry tree branch resting on his shoulder like a literal broadsword, completely oozing boss energy. Instead of fighting each other, why don't you both come play with me? The two of them whipped around in sync, instantly snapping. Play your ass. Great. Another broke-ass loser. Back the hell off before I beat you into a bloody pulp. Who the hell do you think you are? Crashing my fight. Standing dead center between their flaring spirit auras, Su Hong didn't even blink. Nah, you guys got it all wrong. I'm saying, you two should stop fighting each other, team up, and try to take me down. Feeling completely disrespected, the backpack kid shot forward like an absolute missile. You looking down on me? You got a freaking death wish. A massive, bone-crushing punch ripped through the air, aimed right at Su Hong's face to flat-out end him. Without missing a beat, Su Hong whipped out a devastating spinning kick. The sheer force unleashed an insane, arc-shaped shockwave that completely blasted both of those cocky jerks away. Seeing that, the rich kid ended up planted in the dirt, sweating bullets and shaking like a leaf, entirely unable to process what just happened. How is this even possible? Me and that guy were evenly matched. And he just got one-shotted. Before the rich kid could even string a thought together, Su Hong had already closed the gap with terrifying speed. He's way too fast, the guy screamed in pure panic. But Su Hong just gave him a dead-eyed stare. Your turn, rich boy. The rich kid's eyes bugged out of his head, cold sweat dripping down his pale, terrified face as the reality set in. He had absolutely zero chance of fighting back. With zero hesitation, Su Hong swung that massive hunk of wood like a baseball bat, landing a brutal, point-blank smash straight into the guy's face. The impact exploded with dust and pure kinetic force. The hit was so ridiculously heavy that the suit guy got launched several meters through the air, spine planting directly into an ancient tree, his face completely twisted in agony and sheer shock. Dusting his hands off, Su Hong casually hoisted the branch back onto his shoulder. He stood over the two absolute losers laid out in the dirt, dropping one final, hyper-sarcastic line, "Consider that the tax for daring to talk down to us commoner martial artists." Meanwhile, back in the surveillance room, the monitoring officers were completely losing it over the feeds. Where the hell did this kid even come from? Those two were going completely at it, and this guy just swoops in and drops them both in a split second. So, do those two unconscious kids count as eliminated now? The goatee-wearing head instructor kept a dead serious expression, slowly preparing to answer their question. No, they haven't actively triggered their distress signals yet, so the exam continues. Understood, sir, the subordinate replied respectfully. A while later, the guy in the suit slowly came to, his groggy eyes struggling to shake off the dizziness from that earth-shattering blow. Ugh, it freaking hurts. He clutched his swollen face, roaring in absolute rage as the humiliating memory rushed back. Hurts, damn it. Just as he tried to sit up, he froze, staring at the snapped wooden club right by his feet. As for Su Hong, that guy had long vanished deep into the ancient forest. The more he thought about it, the more pissed he got. He ground his teeth, his eyes burning with pure hatred. That little bastard. I've never been humiliated like this. You better pray I don't catch you, or you are freaking dead. On the other side of the tree trunk, the student in the gray shirt was also clutching his stomach, wincing in endless regret. Damn it. If I hadn't underestimated him so much, I wouldn't have gotten my ass kicked so badly by that little punk. The two guys who were just at each other's throats a moment ago were now looking at each other with pathetic, shared misery. Finally, the guy in the suit reached out to make peace with his former rival. Hey, sorry about earlier. Don't take that trash talk personally, alright. You're actually pretty strong, you too. I shouldn't have mocked you either, the other guy replied. And just like that, a weird alliance was formed as they helped each other up to hunt down their mutual enemy. Let's go get our revenge, bro. I gotta grab this club and whack that punk a few times to cool off. This is what they call, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. In another area, Su Hong had already left those two losers in the dust. He gripped his long spear tightly, dashing through the canopy and leaving streaks of blue light that tore through the dark night. His eyes were dead focused, radiating a cold, killer aura that made even the surrounding monsters cower in fear. Suddenly, he braked hard when he saw a pack of monsters blocking the way. Holy crap, another herd of level 1, early-stage long-fanged boars? Looks like this Tianlin mountain range is absolutely packed with beasts. I've completely lost count of how many packs I've run into. The ferocious wild boars growled with glowing red eyes, huffing out heavy, threatening breaths as if they wanted to shred this intruder on the spot. Without missing a beat, Su Hong leaped high into the air, completely ignoring the frantic roars of the beasts charging from below. From above, he channeled his energy. Crackling lightning wrapped around his fist as he unleashed his ultimate move, the 9 Echo Rushing Thunder Fist. 9 explosive echoes rang out. A massive blast of lightning erupted, wiping out the entire herd of boars in a single strike and making the ground shake violently. Standing in the middle of the carnage, Su Hong looked at the system notifications popping up and sighed. Back then, beating one martial artist got me dozens of martial points, but ever since I leveled up, the rewards just keep getting smaller and smaller. He shook off the disappointment, bending down to poke the beast's carcass with the tip of his spear. Whatever, forget it. I better hurry up and find those tokens first. He rummaged through the corpses of the dozen level 1 monsters he just slaughtered, but still found absolutely nothing. Those early-stage level 1 beasts from earlier didn't drop any tokens. I wonder if these guys have any? Wiping the blood off his hands, he pondered. Just as I guessed, still no tokens. Maybe only the high-level beasts carry them. Half an hour passed, and Su Hong's silhouette kept flickering in and out among the ancient tree trunks. He kept moving constantly, hunting for new targets. However, the dead silence of the forest was starting to make him suspicious. When I first came into the forest, like 3 to 5 kilometers out, I could find dozens of low-level beasts in just an hour. Why the hell is it totally empty now? Right at that moment, a massive black shadow with bloodshot eyes swooped down from above, swiping at him with razor-sharp claws and tearing through the dead silence. Su Hong didn't even flinch. His eyes flashed with a surge of blue light, completely hyped up as he recognized his enemy. Finally found you. A peak stage level 1 Phantom Night Tiger. Without hesitating, Su Hong blasted into the air, channeling all his spiritual energy into his finger to unleash the void-piercing finger strike. The explosive force from his finger shattered its defenses, sending the high-level tiger crashing to the ground instantly. Then, he spun his spear around, dropping down with a full-power lightning strike to completely finish off the gasping beast. Seeing the notification pop up for plus 35 martial points, Su Hong smirked confidently. With my current strength, taking down a peak stage, level 1 beast is basically a walk in the park. He crouched down and started digging through the bloody carcass, hoping this high-level black tiger actually had a token inside. Right on the money. A dark red token appeared, bringing a cocky grin to his face. Hey, it really was inside the stomach of this high-level beast. Man, it took me almost 3 hours just to find one of these. He stood up, glancing around the dark forest as he started to analyze the situation. Earlier, those boars were literally everywhere, but now it took me half an hour just to find one black tiger. Looks like the deeper I go into the mountains, the higher the beast level, but the numbers drop way down. Su Hong silently calculated his hunting strategy. Even though the high-level black tigers drop way more martial points, finding only one every half hour is way too slow. If I just farm those low-level beasts on the outskirts, I could probably rack up way more points. His eyes flashed with determination as he immediately flipped his direction. Instead of chasing quality, I might as well just spam quantity for faster points. Dashing through the trees, he mentally locked in on his main goal. I've still got 5 hours left before the exam ends. I need to stack enough points to max out the progress for my mortal body. A while later, in another part of the forest, the scene was an absolute slaughterhouse. Piles of beast corpses were stacked next to streams of dark red blood. Dead boars were littered absolutely everywhere, the brutal aftermath of Su Hong's ruthless hunting spree. Suddenly, a massive bear charged out, trying to maul him, but Su Hong pulled off a sick spin and dodged it perfectly. He moved like a damn ghost, flipping and tumbling to weave through the razor-sharp claws that kept swiping at thin air. Without missing a beat, he threw a punch, silently sizing up his opponent's power. After massacring dozens of early-stage beasts, I finally ran into a mid-stage level 1. Right after that, Su Hong channeled his energy. His fist erupted in blazing fire as he drove it straight at the massive beast. The bear roared in pain, snapping its bloody, fanged jaws as it tried to devour the tiny human in front of it. But the only thing reflected in the beast's glowing yellow eyes was Su Hong dropping the most devastating punch of his life. He launched himself into the air, driving a blazing fist straight down into the beast's skull with an impact that felt like the air itself was exploding. The terrifying force of the blow sent the giant bear crashing into an ancient tree, snapping the massive trunk completely in half. Staring at the blood splattered across his knuckles, Su Hong calmly checked his own progress. Now that my body refinement is at 60%, I can completely crush a mid-stage level 1 beast using pure physical strength. Hyped up, he grabbed his spear and shot off into the dark forest again. Still got over 3 hours left. I've got to farm way more martial points. Out of nowhere, an earth-shattering boom rocked the entire sky, making Su Hong freeze dead in his tracks. He looked up, his face pale and sweating bullets. What the hell was that noise? A colossal bird with radiant golden wings that literally blocked out the sun appeared, making him tremble. What kind of monster is that? Don't tell me. Is that the legendary Beast King, the golden-winged roc? The legendary creature let out an ear-piercing screech. It radiated such a terrifying pressure that the entire Tianlin forest shook violently. Su Hong had to slam his spear into the dirt just to stay on his feet. Is the power of a Beast King really this insane? Just flapping its damn wings is creating earth-shattering shockwaves. The massive ancient trees around him were snapped like twigs by the wind, creating an apocalyptic scene of pure destruction. He quickly ducked behind a massive boulder, his eyes wide with absolute panic. Seriously, what freaking level is that thing to be this terrifying? All his cockiness from earlier instantly vanished, replaced by a brutal reality check. I was getting way too full of myself lately. But in front of these top-tier monsters, I'm literally just an insect. Just as he was freaking out, Su Hong noticed another crazy anomaly up in the sky. Huh? What is that? A blinding streak of light, glowing like a second sun, was shooting straight toward the giant rock. What the hell is that glowing orb? From within the blinding halo, a majestic old man materialized, his voice booming across the sky. Golden-winged Beast King, I am Qin Tianli. I'm just borrowing this turf for today. You really want to start something here? That was the Tier 7 Grandmaster, Qin Tianli. The beast wasn't afraid in the slightest. It flapped its wings and roared back furiously. I never said I'd lend it to you. Qin Tianli let out an arrogant laugh, his fist gathering a massive amount of spiritual energy. Then I'll just beat you until you agree. A Grandmaster-level battle erupted, with intertwined blue and gold lights tearing through the clouds at the mountain peak. The golden-winged roc flapped its wings to counterattack, whipping up hurricanes with razor-sharp force that sliced the ground below. The old man, Qin Tianli, roared with absolute authority, "Shut your mouth." Then, he dashed forward at blinding speed. A series of massive explosions echoed in midair as the Grandmaster relentlessly unleashed devastating moves on the monster. Finally, Qin Tianli landed a brutally heavy punch right on the Beast King's head, sending its blood splattering across the burning sky. Standing amidst the blazing heavens, Qin Tianli majestically radiated an oppressive aura, coldly giving his order. Golden-winged roc, don't make me say it twice. Get the hell out of here, now. I, Qin Tianli, am officially taking over this territory. Instantly, the Beast King, though furious, had no choice but to flap its wings and flee, leaving behind an echoing threat. Just you wait. Stop your whining and get out of my sight. After pushing back his archenemy, the old man slowly held back his breath. His face remained stern, but his eyes softened just a bit. Right after, he unleashed a wave of brilliant golden spiritual energy that blanketed the entire valley, his voice echoing like thunder. I am the Tier 7 Grandmaster, Qin Tianli. All students, there is no need to panic. The exam will continue as usual. Staring up at that colossal figure from the bottom of the cliff, Su Hong couldn't hide his shock, sweat rolling down his face. Is this the true power of a Tier 7 human martial artist? But then, that all quickly ignited into a blazing willpower. His eyes gleamed with sheer determination. Sooner or later, I'm going to reach that godlike level too. Looking further out, the panoramic view of the fortified military training camp appeared in the heart of the Tianlin Mountains, looking like an impenetrable fortress. The moment he touched down before his deeply respectful subordinates, Qin Tianli waved his hand dismissively and muttered, "That golden-winged roc is such a pain in the ass. I just wanted to borrow its turf for a training ground. If it had just said yes from the start, it wouldn't have gotten its ass beat." Walking right behind him were two highly talented Tier 5 martial artists. Lin Zi gasped in awe. As expected of Qin Tianli, your strength is even more terrifying than the rumors say. The Golden-Winged Beast King is famous for its unmatched physical strength, yet you beat it into total submission. However, the old man hated hearing suck-ups. He took powerful strides toward the command center. Cut the crap. Follow me to the monitor room. Let's see if any of these brats actually managed to withstand the golden-winged roc's aura just now. Stepping inside, the giant screen was replaying the chaotic scene from earlier. The assistant reported, "This is the slow-motion footage. Most of the candidates collapsed. They couldn't even twitch under the Beast King's suppression." Suddenly, Qin Tianli's eyes locked onto a specific frame. He pointed at it, intrigued. This kid actually handled that pressure easily, right after wiping out a whole pack of peak Tier 1 black tigers. What's his name? Bai Mu quickly read the file info. He is Wang Tiantuo, a late-stage Tier 1 martial artist. His vitality is at 340, with a 95% fire element affinity. He possesses the unique barbarian god physique, giving him unmatched strength, and he's also the son of Star City's mayor. Qin Tianli stroked his beard and scoffed. The mayor's son, huh? That guy always says having kids is like playing the lottery. After having over 100 of them, he finally hit the jackpot with a decent one. Moving his gaze to another screen, he nodded, praising a young master's footwork. This kid actually dodged the aura's area of effect. His footwork is incredible. Lin Xinghe, late-stage Tier 1. Vitality is 325, 96% wind element affinity, from the Lin family of Star City. Seeing a girl standing calmly inside a psychic barrier, he was quite impressed. A spirit master, eh? Using mental power to cancel out the golden winged rock's aura. Not bad at all. Xiao Yan, a mid-stage tier 1 spirit master. Vitality at 290, 95% wood element affinity, a descendant of the Xiao family. Noticing how superior this group was, Qin Tianli crossed his arms and thought, these three handled the pressure with ease. It proves their strength is way above their peers. Are there any other promising geniuses? Sir, there's also Lin, Bai, and Wang, all mid-stage tier 1s from the major families. The assistant flipped through the files, looking puzzled as she continued reporting. Qin Tianli, the dozen or so people I just mentioned, are all at mid-stage tier 1 and didn't pass out from the Beast King's aura. But the weird thing is, why are they all from the big families? What about the regular school students, especially from first high school? Qin Tianli sighed in utter disappointment as he looked at the lackluster list. Most of the school students are just at early stage tier 1. The top 3 kids from first high school just barely broke through. Ah, forget it, I've seen enough. Star City's first high school is all talk and no bite. But just as he was about to turn away, Lin Zi's eyes went wide. He pointed at the screen and yelled, "Wait, what the hell is going on with this kid?" On the screen, Su Hong was swinging his spear, wiping out monsters like they were nothing, leaving Lin Zi absolutely horrified. He literally just tanked the Beast King's aura, and he still has the energy to go monster hunting like this. The female assistant next to him was trembling just as badly, sweating bullets. He's a freak from Star City's first high school. Lin Zi barked angrily to regain his composure. What do you mean, a freak? Don't overreact like that in front of the Grandmaster. However, the second he grabbed Su Hong's file, Lin Zi's face lost all its color, his lips quivering. This guy is actually a monster. Finding it odd, Qin Tianli snatched the paper, his voice full of authority. You two are already tier 5. What kind of genius haven't you seen? Why are you making such a fuss? I guess you're both still young. Your mental fortitude just lacks discipline. But then, the Grandmaster's own pupils shrank in sheer shock when he looked at Su Hong's unbelievable resume. Is this kid even human? A 100% affinity with all elements. And he has a unique physique. How the hell does a monster like this even exist? The Tier 7 Grandmaster's entire body trembled with excitement as he roared in utter amazement. How could a freak of nature like this come from a backwater place like Star City? This is a once-in-a-century. No, a once-in-a-millennium genius. He gripped the paper so tightly it crumpled, his eyes blazing like he had just struck gold. Oh my god, I seriously hit the jackpot. A true genius always gets the best treatment. Suddenly, he froze, squinting closely at the cultivation level section and wondering out loud. Wait a minute, with talent like this, why is Su Hong only at early stage tier 1? His vitality is only at 123. That makes zero sense with his potential. The assistant explained softly, but her words struck like lightning. Qin Tianli, this boy, Su Hong, is practicing 7 different chi gathering techniques all at the same time. What? 7 at once? Even a god would be ruined doing that. No wonder his cultivation is progressing so slowly. The president of Star City's Martial Arts Association is Wu Lingxian, right? Didn't that idiot explain this to the kid? Just as Qin Tianli was boiling with regret over the wasted talent, a martial artist walked in to report. Qin Tianli, the students have started gathering at the training camp. He took a deep breath, regaining his composure. Good, let's go. I need to see this little monster for myself. The moment he stepped through the camp gates, the top 3 geniuses immediately bowed in deep respect. This junior greets Qin Tianli. The old man nodded in satisfaction and replied, "You 3 did exceptionally well." Behind them, the crowd of candidates dragged themselves in, their faces completely drained of color. Panting heavily, they whined, "We finally made it. I seriously thought I was going to die in there." That was the golden-winged Beast King, for crying out loud. By now, 7.5 hours had passed since the start. Qin Tianli hovered in mid-air, looking down at the exhausted crowd and thought to himself, there probably isn't anyone left behind, right? Maybe I should just end it early. If they haven't made it by now, it just proves they're too weak. However, his eyes kept searching the dark forest, his anxiety clearly showing. Why hasn't that little freak Su Hong shown up yet? Did he get lost? Or did my precious treasure actually get eliminated? Just when the Grandmaster was at the peak of his impatience, a tall figure with a long spear slung over his shoulder casually strolled out from the sunlit forest edge. That brat finally decided to show up. Su Hong dragged his feet, looking totally exhausted and drenched in fresh blood, but his eyes were still gleaming with sharp calculation. Asterisk. Finally made it. I was so caught up in grinding martial arts points that I almost totally forgot the time. Asterisk. Seeing his completely battered state, the students around him couldn't help but shiver, whispering to each other in pure shock. Man, this guy looks way more messed up than I do. But weirdly enough, I don't see a single scratch on him. Just how many monsters did he have to slaughter to get that filthy? Suddenly, the rich kid in the suit who got his ass kicked earlier jumped up, roaring in absolute rage. I finally caught you, you little punk. But his crony standing nearby quickly pulled him back. Whoa, chill out. Once we get inside the training camp, we'll have a million ways to mess him up. Over on the other side, the genius trio was also totally drawn in by the stranger's entrance. While Tiu Yin looked super intrigued, Vung Thine Fact just gave a cold nod. Interesting, crossing the finish line at the very last second. This guy is a total pro. The warning bell rang out loudly, and the instructor boomed his announcement to all the candidates. The 8 hours are up. Anyone who isn't here is officially disqualified. Now, I'm going to brief you on the facilities and the rules of this training camp. He pointed toward the massive, state-of-the-art facilities glowing under the sunset. There are a few main zones in the camp that you rookies need to memorize. The gravity training room, the footwork training room, and the live combat room with monsters. Next, he turned toward a solemn, ancient-looking building and emphasized, and the most crucial one of all, the martial arts pavilion. Here, you can use your points to trade for martial arts skills, footwork techniques, elixirs, and weapons. Hell, they even have A-rank gear. Hearing that, even though Su Hong was slumped on the ground totally exhausted, his eyes suddenly lit up with intense hope. Asterisk. Wait, A-rank gear? Asterisk. Asterisk. Coming to this training camp is seriously the smartest choice I've ever made in my life. Asterisk. However, the instructor immediately poured a bucket of ice water on the crowd's hype. But, to use any of the facilities here, you are absolutely required to pay up with contribution points. He held up his thumb in a challenging gesture and explained further. And there is only one single way to earn these contribution points, and that's by passing the training course exams. Anyone who pulls off an outstanding performance will score some massive bonus rewards. Seeing that the sky had already gone dark, the instructor spread his arms out, barking orders at the exhausted crowd sprawled out on the ground. It's getting late. Those of you who still have juice left in the tank, go ahead and train. As for you injured ones, follow me back to the dorms to rest up. I absolutely do not want anyone dropping dead under my watch. After getting his room key, Su Hong slammed the door shut, letting out a soft sigh of relief as he looked around the fully equipped single room. Asterisk, thank God it's a private room. From now on, I won't have to stress about anyone peeking while I'm cultivating and leveling up. Asterisk. He ripped off his blood-soaked shirt, sat cross-legged on the bed, and excitedly called up the system's status board. Asterisk, man. I've been waiting for this moment for way too long. With a total of 354 martial arts points, it's finally time to max out this mortal body. Asterisk. The split second he initiated the upgrade, a blinding burst of fiery light erupted, completely engulfing Su Hong's shredded body. The system notifications ticked up like crazy. Mortal body reached 70%, 80%, 90%. Suddenly, a terrifying surge of power exploded through his veins, making his eyes blaze like divine fire. The system blared a massive alert. Mortal body has reached 100%. Initiating evolution process. Every single meridian on Su Hong's body lit up like glowing power lines, linking together to form an awe-inspiring constellation pattern that radiated an aura capable of crushing everything around it. The raw energy bleeding off his body whipped up mini tornadoes, blasting through every corner of the room and making the very space feel like it was going to collapse under the insane pressure. A little while later, the blazing light finally began to fade. Su Hong opened his eyes, feeling the miraculous change in every single muscle fiber. His physique had become harder and more flawless than ever before. He clenched his fists tight, totally blown away as he felt the power surging through him. Asterisk. Holy crap. Just my raw physical strength alone is packing this kind of insane, explosive power. Asterisk. Staring at the system screen displaying his new constitution, Su Hong was left absolutely speechless. Asterisk. The Overlord physique. Literally the most physically overpowered constitution out of every single type in the world. I swear, I've never even heard of this thing. Asterisk. He kept reading the cryptic description notes and started piecing it together. Asterisk. Wait, soul level 0. That means this Overlord physique can still be upgraded even further. Asterisk. Asterisk. Just how terrifyingly broken is this god-tier physique gonna get once it evolves again? Asterisk. Jumping up and throwing his jacket back on, Su Hong grabbed his long spear, his face practically glowing with barely contained excitement. Asterisk. This special constitution is just insane. I've got to go test it out right now and see exactly what kind of limits this Overlord physique can push. Asterisk. But the very second he gripped the handle of his C-rank alloy spear, ready to channel his energy, something totally absurd happened. Su Hong's eyes bulged out of his head as he watched the spear in his hand completely buckle and warp into a mangled mess. Asterisk. What the hell is this? This is a C-rank alloy spear, and it's about to snap in half just because I casually squeezed it. Asterisk. He completely broke down, his face turning pale with grief as he stared at his stupidly expensive weapon that had just turned into absolute garbage. Asterisk. A C-rank alloy spear is insanely expensive. Man, I literally dropped a fortune to buy this thing. Now I'm totally screwed. Asterisk. Su Hong clicked his tongue in pure frustration as he stared at the wrecked weapon in his hand. Asterisk. Okay, to be fair, I actually just looted this spear out in the wastelands past Star City, so I didn't spend a single dime on it. But whatever, I need to grind up enough contribution points to trade for an A-rank alloy spear right now. Asterisk. No sooner said than done. He immediately threw his jacket on and marched out of his room, his eyes burning with determination. Asterisk. I wonder, if I slap on a gravity vest to grind contribution points, how many hundreds of kilos can I actually handle now? Asterisk. Meanwhile, over at the massive warehouse district, a huge wave of gasps and shocked chatter suddenly erupted across the area. Holy crap, 3,000 kilograms? Are you kidding me? Right in the middle of the terrified crowd, Vung Thien effortlessly leaped high into the air, muttering with total arrogance, "She still feels a bit too light." The crowd around him was buzzing like crazy. 3,000 kilograms, and he actually thinks it's light? He's literally jumping around with it. Doesn't a normal level 1 martial artist usually max out at just a few hundred kilos? Witnessing that absurd display of strength, even Teo Yin and Lam Tin Ha had to frown in begrudging respect. Asterisk. Vuong Tianthak's strength is seriously monstrous. What an absolute meathead. Asterisk. Meanwhile, up in the control room, Grandmaster Tun Than Liat stroked his beard with a deeply satisfied look as he watched through the monitors. To think Vuong Tianthak could carry a full 3,000 kilograms with such ease, truly worthy of the barbarian god physique. However, his female assistant was clearly stressing over a completely different target, so she asked softly, "Grandmaster Tun, about Su Hong practicing all 7 types of chi channeling techniques simultaneously. When should we pull him aside and properly explain the situation to him? We really shouldn't be too blunt about it." Grandmaster Tun's gaze suddenly grew deep and calculating as he replied sternly, "Geniuses are inherently prideful. If we tell him straight to his face, it will only backfire. We need to implement a few special measures to force him to realize his own mistake and make him give it up voluntarily." Following that, he turned to Lamtrak, asking about a classified operation. "Are all the martial artists we set up for the night raid fully assembled yet?" Lamtrak replied respectfully, "It's going to take just a bit more time, sir. Trying to perfectly match the manpower to the specific power levels of each student is actually quite a headache." A subtle, sly smile crept onto Lamtrak's face as he pictured the upcoming drama. These brats just wrapped up their entrance exams, so they're probably all feeling super relaxed right now. If they suddenly get slammed by a brutal night raid right at this moment, I guarantee you, they're going to be crying for their mommies. Grandmaster Tun's eyes suddenly glinted with an icy blue light as he barked his command. "Assign a late-stage level 1 martial artist specifically to Su Hong. I want him to be utterly crushed and completely defeated. Only after that will I step in to explain the massive drawbacks of training in 7 different systems. Once he hits rock bottom, I'm sure he'll obediently listen to reason." The assistants instantly broke out in a cold sweat upon hearing that, asking nervously, "But sir, a late-stage level 1 martial artist has over 400 points of vitality and a staggering 5,000 points in raw combat power. Meanwhile, Su Hong is barely sitting at over 100. Is this really a good idea? What if we completely shatter his martial mindset?" The Grandmaster aggressively waved them off, his expression completely unyielding. "Absolute nonsense. I am doing this specifically to correct his foolish mistakes. If his martial mindset shatters that easily, then it just proves he's nothing but trash anyway." Later that night, as the chatter echoed through the darkness, "Hey, Vung Tianthak is heading to the gravity room to train. Come on, let's all go check it out." The massive commotion quickly caught the attention of Su Hong, who was just wandering by. Standing alone in the completely deserted equipment hall, he took a look around and muttered to himself, "Did literally everyone seriously just ditch to go watch Vung Tianthak train? Asterisk. Guess I probably should head over and take a peek later. Asterisk. But first things first, Su Hong walked straight up to the equipment storage box and picked up a glowing yellow wristband. Asterisk. "So, is this the smart bracelet they use to track our contribution points?" The box read, "Point tracking bracelets, grab one yourself." Device in hand, he strolled over to the heavy armor section, curiosity written all over his face, and stopped right in front of a special rack. Su Hong gasped in shock. The heaviest suit is 10 tons. What is this, some kind of super dense alloy? Who the hell could even wear this thing? Just to test the waters, he tried lifting a 5-ton suit, but his face instantly scrunched up from the sheer pressure. "Damn, this is heavy. I can put it on, sure, but it's gonna totally wreck my speed, and I definitely won't last long in it." Pushing through the struggle, he stubbornly strapped the heavy armor on, hiding it perfectly underneath his baggy uniform jacket. The second he took it for a test drive, Su Hong exploded into a series of lightning-fast sprints and flips, leaving blurry trails of light darting all over the room. He landed solidly on his feet, flashing a totally satisfied smirk. "A 5-ton weight limit is exactly what I need right now." While tweaking his gear, Su Hong secretly started sizing himself up against the top dogs. "I wonder what level Wang Tian Tuo and those other 2 went with. They're all late-stage level 1, so they're probably rocking something similar, or maybe just a bit heavier than me." Eager to pick up some tricks, he threw on his jacket and strolled outside, heading straight for the brightly lit tower. "I should totally go spy on how those guys train. Might actually learn a thing or two." Outside the pyramid-shaped gravity room, the crowd was losing their minds. Wang Tiantuo is an absolute freak. He went into the gravity room and didn't even bother taking off his 3-ton weighted vest. Staring at the surveillance monitors, everyone's jaws were practically hitting the floor. And he actually cranked the gravity up to 2 times normal. That's insane. Sure, he looks like he's struggling a bit, but that's a total of 6 tons of pressure crushing him right now. Meanwhile, Su-hong, watching from the sidelines, just had a massive question mark plastered across his face. Wang Tiantuo's weighted vest is only 3 tons? That's it? Man, I guess I seriously overestimated the raw stamina of that overlord physique. Just then, he happened to spot some guys from his school huddled in a corner, looking totally bummed out. Su-hong strolled over and asked, "Yo, Chen Shan, Li Tu, what's up with you guys? Why aren't you going into the gravity room to grind?" One of them mumbled, completely lacking confidence. "Dude, those guys are just stupidly overpowered. The gap is way too huge. If we go in there to train, we're totally gonna get compared to them, and it'll just be humiliating." The whole group could only exchange looks and heave a massive sigh, crushed by the brutal reality of the power gap in this boot camp. Completely ignoring his friend's pity party, Su-hong just casually strolled right toward the entrance, making them panic. "Su-hong, are you seriously going in there? Aren't you afraid of embarrassing yourself? At least wait until nobody's around before you go in." The crowd around them instantly started snickering when they saw him walking up empty-handed. "Hold up, is this dude brain dead? He's not even wearing a weighted vest and he's daring to walk in there? What, is he trying to beat Wang Tiantuo's gravity multiplier or something?" Talk about totally shameless. Without missing a beat, Su-hong just casually strolled right through the glowing doors, completely tuning out all the trash talk behind him. These gravity rooms cost an absolute fortune to build, so normally only the elite families get to use them. No way I'm letting this golden opportunity slip. Standing dead center in the room, he started doing the math in his head. I've already got 5 tons of weight on me. If I crank the gravity up to 2 times, that turns into 10 tons. I'd probably only last about 10 minutes. Figuring that out, he reached over and dialed the control panel down to a safer setting so he could grind for a lot longer. Better set it to 1.5 times normal gravity so I can hold out a bit longer. 1.5 times gravity. The exact second the machine fired up, Su-hong's entire body buckled, thick blue veins bulging against his skin under the crushing, insane pressure. Ugh, damn, that's heavy. Outside, the mob of students took one look at the stats on the monitor and just lost it, laughing their heads off. Dude isn't even wearing a weighted vest, and he only has the guts to set it to 1.5. Typical dead last loser behavior. He's so weak it's actually pathetic. But inside, sitting cross-legged in deep meditation, Su-hong was actually experiencing a crazy, magical shift in his body. Man, this multi-million-dollar gravity room absolutely lives up to the hype. Under this insane pressure, circulating my breathing techniques is way harder, but my cultivation speed is visibly skyrocketing. 2 whole hours tick by. While everyone else would have tapped out ages ago, Su-hong was still sitting there, completely motionless like a statue, totally engulfed in a blazing red mist. Culminating in an epic moment, Su-hong's eyes suddenly snapped open, blazing with an intensely powerful, deep blue spiritual energy marking a massive, hardcore evolution in both his mind and body. Glancing at his status panel, aside from his lightning and fire attributes, every single one of his other techniques had leveled up across the board. The best part? His vitality stat had completely spiked, jumping from 126 straight up to 130. Right after that, fighting against the crushing weight, he barely managed to reach out and kill the power on the gravity machine, thinking to himself, if this room is this insanely effective, then the footwork and monster combat simulation rooms have got to be absolutely top tier. Dragging his feet, Su-hong finally stumbled out of the room, looking totally wiped out and absolutely drenched in sweat. Finally done. Man, I am dead on my feet. The second he showed his face, the mob of students outside immediately started throwing shade. Oh, look, the dead last loser finally crawled out. What a joke. He wasn't even wearing a weighted vest, and he still couldn't handle a measly 1.5 times gravity without sweating like a pig. If it were me, I could literally sleep overnight in that thing. Completely tuning out their trash talk, Su-hong started griping about how badly his gear breathed while unzipping his outer jacket. This weighted armor is suffocating me. I'm roasting alive in here. Suddenly, 2 guys standing nearby felt their eyes nearly pop out of their skulls in pure shock as they watched him strip off a massive, heavy-duty armor suit from right under his uniform. Wait, he was actually wearing weighted armor this whole time? How heavy is that thing? Trying to play it cool with their usual snobby attitudes, one muttered, looking at how hard he was struggling. It's probably only around 500 kilograms. Still, lasting 2 hours in the gravity room. I guess his stamina isn't total trash. They quickly backed each other up. Yeah, he might have a little bit of muscle, but how the hell does he even compare to Wang Tiantuo? It's a joke. Like anyone here could actually hold a candle to that absolute monster. Right on cue, the crowd erupted into a frenzy again as Wang Tiantuo stepped out of the adjacent room. Yo, Wang Tiantuo is out. He actually survived over 2 straight hours under 6 tons of crushing pressure. That's just terrifying. Wang Tiantuo swaggered out through the fading mist, looking like an absolute boss, leaving the entire crowd in utter awe. That is literally insane. His raw physical strength has got to be solidly ranked #1 in this whole boot camp. Out of nowhere, the guy unbuckled his 3-ton weighted vest and just slammed it onto the floor. It hit with an earth-shattering boom, making the ground around it look like it was about to crack wide open. Soaking in that weightless feeling, Wang Tiantuo squeezed his fists tight, his massive muscles bulging with explosive power. Phew, man, I finally feel light on my feet again. The sheer weight on that thing was no joke. Right about then, the resident genius, Lin Xinghe, swaggered over and threw down a challenge. Hey, old Vuong, in pure brute strength, I'll admit you've got me beat. But how about we hit up the agility room and see who's really faster? Wang Tiantuo shot him down instantly. You literally main an A-rank wind element footwork technique. I'd have to be out of my mind to race you in that. Loitering nearby, Su Hong froze in his tracks. His ears practically perked up the second he caught that massive keyword. An A-rank footwork technique? A brilliant, calculating blue light suddenly sparked in his eyes. Sure, the raw power of the Overlord physique is totally badass, but the one thing I'm desperately missing right now is a high-tier movement skill to max out my combat flow. Without wasting a single second, Su Hong tailed them straight to the dome-shaped building, immediately catching the loud gasps of the crowd that had already gathered. So, this is that legendary A-rank flying swallow cloud-piercing step. It's just way too overpowered. Staring into the training zone through the thick glass, the students were literally shivering in awe. This agility room is rigged with a stupid amount of arrow launchers. I set it to level 3 and couldn't even dodge them. But Lin Xinghe actually had the guts to crank it all the way up to the max level 10. Dodging through tens of thousands of laser beams and flying arrows that were violently ripping through the air, Lin Xinghe's silhouette was moving so insanely fast that he left a trail of overlapping afterimages, leaving everyone absolutely stunned. He's too fast. My eyes literally can't even track him. If I stepped in there, I wouldn't even survive for a single second. The guy was literally dropping rose petals like a total diva while dodging everything, making the whole crowd lose their minds. Does he seriously still have the energy to flex like that? And where the hell did he even get those petals? But I'm not gonna lie. He looks ridiculously cool right now. Watching like a hawk, Su Hong flashed a slick smirk as the system in his head started glitching out with rapidly climbing numbers. Now that is some killer footwork. Flying swallow, cloud piercing, step progress at 1%. He hyper-focused all of his mental energy straight into his eyes, mirroring every single footfall and the exact flow of his opponent's spiritual energy so he could totally hack and copy it on the low. Immediately after, Su Hong started bouncing on his toes, busting out tiny micro-movements right where he stood, starting to completely sync up with the rhythm of the A-rank footwork. His super weird behavior was instantly spotted by the people around him. Pointing their fingers, they totally clowned him. Yo, get a load of this freak over here, humph. Oh my god, the crowd completely busted out laughing, thinking he was just making an absolute fool of himself. Ha ha ha, look at what this idiot is doing. He seriously doesn't think he can actually learn the flying swallow cloud piercing step just by standing there watching Lin Xinghe move, does he? What a total joke. Does he really think an A-rank technique is that easy to pick up? But completely ignoring all their trash talk, the progress bars inside Su Hong's head were literally exploding, jumping to 8%, 15%, and then straight to 30% in just a matter of seconds. The progression skyrocketed at a crazy speed. The numbers kept jumping 43%, 63%, 78% until it hit the 93% mark, making his whole body glow with a blinding aura. Finally, the system notification rang out with absolute authority. Congratulations, the flying swallow cloud steps has officially reached the beginner level. Awesome, I actually just learned my first A-rank movement skill. However, Su Hong suddenly scratched his head in awkwardness when he thought about what he just did. Man, those moves from Lin Xinghe are way too flashy. It's honestly a bit embarrassing. I've never seen the normal version, so I had no choice but to copy his exact same poses. The system is now returning the player to reality. He clenched his fists with absolute confidence, feeling the fresh, crazy agility in his legs. Whatever, I've already learned it anyway. No need to hit the agility training room anymore. I might as well head straight to the monster room to farm some points and boost my vitality while I'm at it. Just as he was about to turn around, Su Hong suddenly felt a chill down his spine when he realized the crowd around him was staring at him with super weird looks. Why the hell are you guys looking at me like that? One guy blurted out, dude, those poses you just struck were ridiculously flashy. You seriously captured Lin Xinghe's exact vibe. Super impressive, but I definitely wouldn't dare copy that. It's just way too extra. Remembering his twisted, flower-scattering poses from just now, Su Hong's face turned beet red from sheer embarrassment. Oh, crap. Don't tell me I was actually striking those cringy, try-hard poses out here in real life too? The second he broke away, Su Hong instantly sprinted off, his face burning with shame, cursing at himself in his head. Damn it, I absolutely cannot use Lin Xinghe as a role model ever again. Meanwhile, the crowd of students behind him kept hollering, hey, handsome, don't go. Do it one more time. You looked incredibly badass just now. But right after he managed to shake off the crowd, Su Hong's footsteps suddenly stopped dead. His eyes turned sharp and cold as he glanced backward on high alert. Is someone stalking me? Sure enough, hiding in the blind spot of the building blocks, those two unlucky genius punks from earlier were sneaking around, plotting against him. Finally spotted him. He's definitely heading to the monster combat room. We'll block the door, and the second he comes out, we'll beat the living crap out of him for revenge. Looking off into the distance, the massive building. Number 1 with the monster combat room sign loomed majestically in the dark of night, the exact place where the most intense battles were going down. Right in front of the main lobby, the vibe suddenly got super tense as Wang Tiantuo stood facing Xiao Yan, letting out a loud, challenging laugh. Haha, Xiao Yan, did you really just say you want to compete to see who can kill more monsters? I just want to know, in this training camp, who is the absolute strongest between you and me? Facing that blatant provocation, Xiao Yan stayed totally chill, smirking back with sheer arrogance. You really think you can beat my barbarian god physique with just your spirit sense? Or am I just being seriously underestimated right now? I think you're the one looking down on the power of a spirit master, buddy. Hiding within the crowd, Su Hong narrowed his eyes, watching the face-off between the two top-tier geniuses as he thought to himself, a spirit master? Huh. I haven't actually seen one in real combat yet. Might as well hang back and watch for a bit. It won't be too late to hunt monsters and farm martial points later anyway. Instantly, the surveillance screen flashed to a scene of Xiao Yan casually gliding right through a massive pack of pitch-black panthers, making the students outside scream in absolute shock. What the hell is going on? Witnessing the red-haired girl literally floating in mid-air, Su Hong was completely stunned, cold sweat dripping down his cheeks. Is she actually hovering in the air right now? Walking on air is supposed to be a move only grandmasters can pull off. Could this actually be the power of a spirit master? Not keeping anyone waiting, Xiao Yan simply reached her hand forward. A blazing golden light erupted from her palm, looking like it was about to rip right through the freezing night. Those beams shot out like Godspeed arrows, piercing straight through the heads of multiple monsters in a split second, leaving Su Hong standing outside with his jaw completely dropped. What on earth are those light beams? Suddenly, a massive bear with glowing red eyes let out a crazy roar and charged in, aiming to pounce on Xiao Yan from behind with an overwhelmingly thick killing intent. A close-up shot of the beast's black striped yellow eyes and razor-sharp fangs flashed menacingly, signaling that an incredibly deadly attack was right on top of her. But Xiao Yan just casually turned around, letting out a soft "oh," as the giant bear was suddenly tied up by an invisible force, suspended helplessly in midair. Can she seriously use her spirit sense to forcefully bind and control her enemies? Su Hong was internally freaking out. Right after that, a blinding blade of light slashed across like lightning, executing the beast in a single breath as fresh blood sprayed everywhere. Su Hong focused his mind entirely on his eyes, finally catching the secret behind those flashes. So that's what it is. Those beams of light are actually flying daggers controlled by her spirit sense. He clenched his fists, feeling the brutal gap in their power levels. Hovering in the air, telekinesis, binding enemies. No wonder spirit masters are so ridiculously overpowered. They can crush normal martial artists without even breaking a sweat. Just as everyone was still in awe, the entire room suddenly flared up with a gigantic surge of spiritual energy, making the students scream in sheer terror. Oh my god, what the hell is that? What's up with that massive greatsword? Right before their eyes, Xiao Yan was telekinetically driving a giant, glowing heavy sword straight down from above, slicing a roaring giant python right in half at her feet. The girl's face was completely deadly and focused in that moment, her glowing eyes radiating the insane aura of a literal goddess of war. One god-tier overhead strike ripped the massive snake's body clean in two. Blood geysered out while the entire audience fell into a suffocating, dead silence. Su Hong stared blankly at the screen, his brain doing rapid math. A weapon? She wasn't holding anything in her hands a second ago. Plus, a giant sword like that has to weigh several tons. How could she swing it around so effortlessly? Right then, Lin Xing had casually fluttered his paper fan, smiling as he answered everyone's burning questions. This is a martial skill exclusively designed for spirit masters, and it's even rated at an A rank. Hearing that, Su Hong was absolutely shell-shocked, sweat pouring down his face purely out of jealousy. Another A rank skill, Lin Xing. How the hell do all of you guys have A rank martial skills? Don't tell me Wang Tiantuo has one too. Lin Xing has snapped his fan shut and nodded in confirmation, making the surrounding crowd completely lose their minds. Of course he does. He possesses an insanely overpowered A rank offensive skill. This is way too broken. Are you guys all total freaks of nature? Su Hong let out a slight smirk, his eyes burning with an intense craving to conquer this new peak. This training camp is literally overflowing with A-rank skills. I seriously came to the exact right place. At the same time, the screen cut over to Wang Tiantuo, who literally just made a peak level 1 monster explode with a single, basic punch. What kind of terrifying skill was that? Skill my ass. That was purely just his raw physical strength. He's already this broken without even using a martial skill. Su Hong stared silently at Wang Tiantuo's back on the screen, then made up his mind. Looks like Wang Tiantuo has zero intention of busting out his martial skill right now. Whatever, I'll just find another chance to learn from him later. He immediately pulled up his status board to check his awakening potential. Right now, all I want is to become a spirit master, but my spiritual power is only at 26.5. The system said I need my spiritual power over 100 points to awaken as a spirit master, so I'm still short 73.5. Name, Su-hong. Vitality, 130. Spirit, 26.5. Physique, Overlord body at Void Spirit tier. Cultivation arts, Thunder Guidance, Art level 3. Heavenly Fire Guidance, Art level 3. Water Marsh Guidance, Art level 2. Deep Lightning Guidance, Art level 2. Spirit Wind Guidance, Art level 2. Martial skills, Flying Swallow Cloud Steps at beginner 3%, Void Shattering Finger at perfect, Raging Sea Spear Art at perfect. Martial points, 0. Su-hong's eyes suddenly flashed with a bloodthirsty glare as his hands erupted in brilliant spiritual fire. So I need 735 martial points to close that gap. Huh. Looks like it's officially time for me to start a real massacre. Hiding in the blind spot, the rich punk in a suit smugly pointed his finger toward the door. See that? He just went inside. The thug with him nodded in agreement, tightly gripping a wooden club to gear up for an ambush. Right now, everyone's too busy watching Wang Tiantuo and Xiao Yan train, so nobody's paying any attention to this spot. This is our golden chance. Let's rush in and beat that little punk to a pulp. But the exact second he glanced at the surveillance screen, the student with him bugged out his eyes and let out a terrified scream. Holy sweet mother of God. The scream made the suit-wearing punk panic, quickly scolding him. What the hell are you screaming for? Don't let him catch us, you idiot. But then both of them froze dead in their tracks the moment they stared up at the screen. Su-hong's tiny figure is completely surrounded by these massive freaking monsters. Just look at this nightmare. The dude is soloing a whole dozen of peak level 1 beasts, all flashing their fangs and claws at him. Is he out of his freaking mind? Taking on more than a dozen savage beasts all at once, and they're all late-stage level 1-2. Watching this absolute suicide mission, the guy in the vest shakes like a leaf. Should we call the coach to save him? If we don't, that kid is dead meat for sure. The other guy just shakes his head, totally giving up. Too late, man. Give it a few seconds, and he's gonna be ripped to shreds. Right on cue, completely surrounded by monsters, Su-hong drops into a fighting stance, making the two lurkers groan bitterly. Well, guess we ain't getting our payback after all. But completely ignoring their panic, Su-hong flashes this cocky-ass smirk, his deep blue eyes blazing with pure hype. Bring it on. Instantly, the giant python and massive scorpion let out insane roars, charging at the challenger with some crazy earth-shattering power. Su-hong barely bends his knees before pulling off this sick backflip, dodging a deadly snipe from the giant scorpion's massive pincers. Right in midair, he channels his aura into his hands, blasting out this deep blue spiritual energy that turns into glowing, explosive energy spheres. In the blink of an eye, Su-hong dive bombs like a missile, dropping lightning-fast strikes that blast the monsters away in a totally insane shockwave. He spins around, gathering energy in his palms to whip up this blazing spiritual vortex for his next sick combo. Moving faster than lightning, Su-hong slashes out a wave of spiritual light, instantly wiping out a whole mob of monsters while the guys watching totally lose their minds in pure shock. Outside, the two ambushers' jaws practically hit the floor, totally unable to believe their own eyes. Am I freaking dreaming? Is this seriously the kind of power an early-stage level 1 fighter can pull off? Bro, even a mid-stage fighter would be dead meat if a dozen late-stage monsters ganged up on them. Wait, hold up. His footwork looks way too familiar. The guy in the vest is totally stunned as he zeroes in on Su-hong's steps. Ain't that Lin Xing his cloud-piercing swallow step? No freaking way. The shock is so insane that the dude in the vest drops his wooden club straight to the dirt. Both of them just stand there, staring at each other in this creepy, dead silence. Meanwhile, on the monitor, Su-hong is just chilling, sitting right on top of a massive dead python in the middle of this totally bloody war zone. Dude, we were literally just talking for like a few minutes, and somehow all 10 of those late-stage level 1 beasts are completely wiped out. The two lurkers gasp. Su-hong pants heavily, taking a quick peek at his system interface before letting out a massive sigh. Over a dozen late-stage level 1 monsters, and they only dropped a measly 81 martial arts points. That's barely 7 points a pop. Seriously, the stronger I get, the harder it is to grind these freaking points. He narrows his eyes, catching the scent of fresh meat lurking in the pitch-black shadows around him. Out from the creepy, dark tunnels, a whole swarm of blood-red eyes from saber-toothed panthers starts flashing, giving off this totally sick, killer vibe. Not even flinching, Su-hong throws a totally explosive spiritual punch, blasting a monster that tried to jump him from behind straight into the wall. Right in the dead center of the explosions, with monster guts flying everywhere, Su-hong stands his ground like an absolute god of war, scaring the absolute crap out of those beasts. His insane brutality totally breaks them, making the monster mob chicken out and scatter back into the shadows. Su-hong's eyes suddenly flare up with this crazy, bloodthirsty blue lightning. He throws them a wicked smile, Where the hell do you think you're going? Cough up all your martial arts points right now. And with that, he blasts off at a 6 speed, reaching out and snatching the tail of this giant scorpion trying to make a run for it. Flexing his insane tyrant body strength, Su Hong swings the massive freak around like a literal toy, whipping up a crazy tornado that completely wipes out all the enemies around him. Watching this totally inhuman flex on the monitor, the two guys who wanted to jump him earlier are frozen stiff like statues, sweating buckets because they're so freaking terrified. Finally, the guy in the vest shakes his head, completely ditching any plans for payback. Man, this cycle of revenge is just toxic. You know what? I've decided to be the bigger man and forgive him. Let's bail, bro. Before that absolute monster comes out and beats the crap out of us again. See that, folks? Sometimes getting scared out of your mind is the best way to become a good person. Anyway, back at the rally point, Tu Yen wipes her sweat and checks her smart wristband. 270 contribution points. Wang Tiantuo is standing right next to her, looking totally wiped out too, but still rocking that super cocky attitude. The crowd around them instantly blows up with hyped up whispers. Bro, that's insane. Keep in mind, hunting a late-stage level 1 beast only gives you 5 contribution points. Do the math, and they definitely slaughtered at least 50 to 60 of those things. Wang Tiantuo glares at his own wristband showing just 100 points, totally pissed off. My bonus contribution points for wearing the weighted gear capped out at exactly 100 points. Tu Yen sighs softly. I only managed to score 50 points from that. Hearing these insane flexes from the top tiers, the rest of the students are practically crying as they look at their own freaking wristbands. Dude, I only scraped up 20 points. I wore a 1-ton weight and still only got 30 points. You think that's bad? I'm totally cooked. I'm sitting here with a pathetic 10 points. A bunch of guys pant heavily, looking over at the top 3 prodigies with totally defeated faces. So, who actually won your monster hunting challenge anyway? Was it him? I bet Lin Xinghei's score is absolutely cracked. With these 3 absolute beasts hanging around, the best we can hope for is freaking 4th place. Hearing that, the 2 lurkers from earlier just look at each other, giving this super smug, mysterious snicker. Hey, what a bunch of clueless losers. They have no idea there's an even crazier freak lurking in this training camp. A dude who's on a completely different planet compared to those 3 monsters. 1 hour later. The combat zone is basically just a bloody, wrecked wasteland now, with these terrifying scratch marks covering the walls. Right in the middle of a literal mountain of monster corpses, this one lone figure is just sitting there in dead silence, giving off the absolute dominant aura of an apex predator. Su Hong lets out a huge sigh of relief, wiping the monster blood right off his face. Phew, finally done with that crap. But honestly, he still looks super annoyed as he crunches the numbers for his big goal. Spamming kills on these monsters nonstop for over an hour seriously drained all my stamina. Even with my tyrant body backing me up, I'm still way too freaking far from hitting my goal of 735 martial arts points. Su Hong glances down at his wristband, which is straight up glowing with a solid 700. Well, whatever. At least I managed to grind out 700 contribution points. I wonder what kind of sick loot I can trade this for over at the martial arts pavilion. As soon as night drops, the martial arts pavilion lights up all mystical and glowing under the stars. It's basically the ultimate treasure vault that every single fighter is absolutely thirsting for. Stepping inside, Su Hong rocks up to the front desk. The clerk girl is just resting her chin on her hand, looking super lazy and totally checked out. He starts flipping through the big loot catalog to check the market prices, doing the math in his head. Okay, level 1 vitality pills are 10 points. Healing meds run for 20 points, aura gathering elixirs are 30. But A-rank martial skills like the Cyclone Palm cost a massive 2,000 points. The Phantom Bone Fire Punch is 2,800, and the Skywalker Footwork is totally insane at 3,000 points. Even A-rank spear skills are crazy expensive. Su Hong goes totally silent, his face super serious as he thinks. The absolute cheapest combat skill is still 2,000 points. But honestly, the price for meds isn't that bad. Especially since they actually sell aura elixirs that buff up your mental energy. Checking out his totally average outfit, the clerk girl secretly judges him with this super condescending vibe. Hey kid, you finally gonna pick something to buy or what? Dude barely looks like an early stage level 1 scrub. He probably doesn't even have enough points for the dirt cheap stuff. Talk about literally judging a book by its cover. Totally ignoring her snarky attitude, Su Hong keeps his cool and cuts straight to the chase. Do the aura elixirs here actually boost your mental energy? The girl sighs, totally bored out of her mind. Duh. But they only give you that massive buff the very first time you use them. The higher the tier, the bigger the freaking power spike. He stops flipping when he hits the jackpot page, his eyes narrowing like he's locked in. The highest tier aura elixir they got here is level 4, and it costs a whopping 500 contribution points. Out of nowhere, Su Hong throws up one finger and loudly announces, "Yo, hook me up with 1 level 4 aura elixir to start." The clerk girl practically jumps out of her skin, her eyes bugging out in pure shock. Wait, what? She starts waving her hands like crazy, thinking he totally messed up the price. Hold up, kid. A tier 4 pill costs 500 points, not 50. But he just stands there, totally chill, crossing his arms and shooting back. Yeah, I heard you. I want the tier 4 one. And right on cue, Su-hong casually flashes his wrist. His smart band pings and lights up with a glowing, massive 700, making the clerk's jaw practically hit the floor. Holy crap, does this kid seriously have 700 contribution points? The girl's attitude instantly did a total 180. Flashing a massive, sweet smile, she handed over the precious wooden box. Here is your chi-gathering elixir, sir. He grabbed it and asked, thanks. Hey, do you guys stock any dual-element lightning and fire alloy spears around here? The staff girl gave the big spender a super flirty wink. We've always got those in stock for you. That one's only going to cost 200 points. Thanks for shopping with us, cutie. The scene then shifted to the dead silent night sky right above the dorms. Lights from the dorm rooms were glowing bright against the pitch-black night, where all the students were grinding through their own secret, late-night cultivation sessions. Inside the room, chilling on the weapon rack, the brand-new C-rank lightning and fire alloy spear was giving off this cold, killer aura, totally ready to wreck some fools alongside its master. Sitting cross-legged on his bed, checking out his freshly updated stat panel, Su-hong was totally hyped. Vitality bumped up to 135. Spirit is at 26.5. Tyrant physique just hit 1%. And all my chi-guiding arts leveled up. Damn. My progress today is way more than a whole week combined, and I still have 490 martial points left to burn. He carefully pulled the perfectly round pill out of the brocade box, feeling a gentle wave of spiritual energy radiating from it. My spirit power right now is 26.5, even with my 490 martial points. I'm still short by exactly 25.5 points to hit that 100 threshold for an awakening. Staring hard with intense focus and a ton of hope, Su-hong brought the pill up to his mouth. Man, I seriously hope this level 4 chi-gathering elixir can boost my spirit power by that exact 25.5 points I'm missing. Finally, he just downed the pill without any hesitation, a sharp, crazy, ambitious glint flashing in his eyes. I am going to become a true spiritual master, no matter what it takes. As you guys can see, Su-hong is going all out to completely shatter the limits of a normal martial artist. Will this pill actually help him awaken his spiritual sense tonight? Do not skip the next chapter, guys, because it's going to be insanely intense. As you guys can see, Su-hong is going all out to completely shatter the limits of a normal martial artist. Will this pill actually help him awaken his spiritual sense tonight? Do not skip the next chapter, guys, because it's going to be insanely intense.